that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Free Radio.
Brother B.A. Ben Abraham, and I'm your host of the Man Up segment on Debate Talk For You platform. The objective is for all brothers from different walks of life to come together, link up, and build on matters concerning all various stages of life. If anyone would like to reach out on concepts and ideas, you can reach Brother B.A. at radicalrhyme1984@gmail.com. Again, radicalrhyme1984@gmail.com. Tap in. Let's build. Shalom. Shalom.
Peace and greetings to you. This is Amuna Yisrael, affectionately known as the First Lady of Debate Talk For You. I have enjoyed coming to you week after week, season after season, growing together, speaking about the difficult topics, investing the energy, time, and effort with our brothers and sisters on the panel. Today, I would like to come to you with an opportunity for you to invest in something that I've been working on and that's near and dear to me. It's called the Yummy Cottage. You can learn more about it at www.gofundme.com/the Yummy Cottage. We're currently fundraising so that we can get it off the ground, and your help would be appreciated. Once again, www.gofundme.com/the Yummy Cottage. Check the link in the box and hope to hear from you soon.
You're now listening to Season 8 of Debate Talk For You Radio. I'm your host, Sal Showtime, and we are back with another classic show for you guys. Well, for the first time ever, we're doing the movie review right here on Debate Talk For You Radio. As everybody know, the Black Panther has been out for at least a month right now, and it sold over $1 billion as far as ticket sales, and it's been a frenzy in regards to this movie. A lot of people have been speaking about it on social media. A lot of people have been taking different concepts from the movie and having discussions on it. So from a fan perspective, I'm pretty sure you guys want to hear what our perspective is on Debate Talk For You in regards to the movie. And, of course, there's been a demand of people wanting to hear what we think in regards to the movie, Debate Talk For You. Again, this is the movie review. And today's show is entitled T'Challa versus Eric Killmonger. Who was right? Who had the truth? Again, today's show is entitled T'Challa versus Eric Killmonger. Who had the truth? We're going to speak about that. So for those that saw the movie, I'm pretty sure all of you saw the movie by now. If you didn't see the movie, you got to revoke your black card. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw the movie out there, and we're going to talk about it. But before we do that, let's introduce the special guest. And I'm actually waiting on a few more people to join into the show right here on Debate Talk For You Radio. But let's introduce my first special guest. Our first special guest is here. This is my brother, Robert Reed. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Sal? What's going on? Shalom, shalom. Debate Talk For You audience. Always good to be here with you guys. How's it going, Sal?
Doing pretty good, man. Hanging in there. I was glad to have you on the panel. My next special guest is here. This is Brother Josh. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Debate Talk For You audience. Shabbat Shalom, Sal. Shabbat Shalom, Robert Reed. And happy Passover to all my Torah-observant brethren and sisters. I look forward to a great dialogue tonight. Going to be a lot of interesting input, I believe, and I'm just really more interested in hearing from the people and my fellow panelists than anything else their perspective on this groundbreaking movie. So let's just get it in.
All right, that's Brother Josh right here on Debate Talk For You. I see you, Zadok. We're supposed to also have Ron Divine Prospect. I'm going to try to contact him. If you're on the phone lines, brother, you got to press number 1. If you're already out there, press number 1, and we'll bring you in the conversation. And So Real couldn't make it today. So Real, he's supposed to also been joining us, but he couldn't make it. So, hopefully everything's okay with the brother. And Mikael's supposed to be calling in as well. But we bring in Zadok. Zadok, what's going on?
Yo, peace. What it is, y'all?
What's going on with you, man? What kind of forever?
Sustaining and not complaining.
Get my T'Challa voice on. T'Challa voice on.
Oh, man. No, that's all right, man. But, yeah, man, God is good, man. Just getting home. Had to handle some business before the Sabbath came in. But yeah, we cooling now, man. Just getting ready for this, a new season, another opportunity to consider and think about the things of the Lord, and the feast days coming is always a reminder of the plan of the Most High. So just thankful, and it's cool to be here tonight. This should be interesting.
All right, man. We're doing our first movie review. By popular demand, right here on Debate Talk Radio. Actually, the ladies took a shot at it. They had a program called Wakanda Forever on Debate Talk Radio. So for those that missed that first movie review, that was actually the first one with the ladies. Go check it out in the archives. It's called Wakanda Forever. It's a great conversation. A lot of people called in and spoke about the movie. Some people had some controversy in that conversation, but we welcome the controversy right here on Debate Talk Radio in regards to the movie. So this is just the brothers coming together and speaking about it today, and we expect you guys as well to participate as well. And I see a lot of people on the phone lines listening to the show, so we're gonna definitely jump right into this. All right, guys. So before we go to the title, which is T'Challa versus Eric Killmonger, who was right? How many times you saw the movie? Let's get a brief, what's your perspective? What did you think about it briefly? Let's go to Robert Reed. What did you think about the movie overall?
My overall grade for the movie, sometimes I kind of have fun with my family, and we do we talk about it a little bit, and we do a scale of 1 to 10, and I believe I gave it about a 9.25. I gave it about a 9.25, 9.5, something like that, I believe. And it was, overall, I think it's good. I think it was a great movie. I won't say too much because I know we're going to unpack the movie as the conversation goes along. But let me go ahead and say, shalom to Brother Josh and Brother Zadok, because I went first and I didn't know who was on the line just yet. So I just wanted to say, shalom and what's up, guys. And I'm looking forward to, kind of topping the movie up with you guys and kind of getting everyone else's perspective, not just my own. I'm interested to hear other people's perspective. But to answer your question one more time, I gave about 9.25, 9.5, something like that. I felt really good about the movie for everything that it stood for.
All right, so you give it a 9.25. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't know how precise you guys wanted to get, so.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to Brother Josh. What did you think about the movie overall?
Well, that's an interesting question, Sal, and it all depends on what you're rating about the movie. Now, if you're just a movie goer like myself, then, you're going to rate it based on how entertaining it was, special effects, storyline, plot. I got to give it a 10 when it comes to all of that stuff right there. You follow what I'm saying? So, like my guy Robert Reed said, we're gonna unravel this movie. But there are a lot of things. I like the movie because of the controversy that it raised. I love controversial cinema pieces. That's just who I am. I like to show people the subliminal messages and things. A lot of my people at ABT know that that's what I kind of do as a hobby. I break down and reveal subliminal and biblical and messianic hidden messages in movies. And there's a handful of them in Black Panther, and a lot of people are already telling me, Josh, you got to do a documentary on it. Some of you people on Debate Talk, you checked out my Book of Eli documentary. You follow what I'm saying? It's on my online store. I have to throw that plug in there right quick, but don't get it on the Sabbath. Wait till after the Sabbath. You follow what I'm saying? But they want me to do a breakdown on Black Panther, and there's a lot of stuff in it. And I just want to hear what a lot of people have to say so I can just kind of put my input in and show people, what I got out of it. There's really no right or wrong views on this particular show unless somebody just misunderstood something the movie stated. Not like your view of it. But there's really no right or wrong tonight. It's like, if that's your view, that's your view. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. So, I give it a 10, like I said, based on, the entertainment and the premises of the movie.
All right, so Josh give it a 10. Robert Reed give it a 9.25. All right, so let's go to Zadok. What did you think about the movie overall? And I guess you could give your rating as well.
First of all, I want to say peace to Brother Rob, and I want to say peace to Brother Josh, man. I didn't get to I wasn't around for it, but I heard that Josh and Judah really had a great discussion a couple of weeks back here, and that was a great thing. I think the community needs more of that stuff between sound teaching and sound speaking or orating individuals in this community because, man, there's just a stereotype, man. People just hear Hebrew or Israelite, and, man, I'm telling you, man, these One West dudes and all they little offshoot camps done really did a dinger. But they do serve a purpose. The Most High has them around for a purpose, so I'm not condemning them, but it was just good to know that two heavyweights was able to get together and display something, talking about unity and what brotherhood looks like in the Hebrew Israelite community overall. So that was dope. The movie, that movie was a dime piece, fam. Real talk. I done seen the joint 2 times, and I liked it because of one. Definitely, you got the cast, right? You got the cast that is predominantly black as far as the main characters and the star and the plot line. Now, what's interesting is what really made me like it more was the fact that me being a comic book head when I was young, and my mom she used to let me order comic books in the mail. If Marvel ever do the Hulk versus Wolverine, know who on Fandango ordering tickets as soon as I hear they go on sale. Okay, but the Black Panther, man, and what Stan Lee did, I forget his co-writer back in the 60s, in the late 50s when they actually put the Black Panther out. I'm sorry, did somebody say the co-author's name?
Yeah, what's the name, Rob? Jack Kirby. Okay.
Yeah, the Black Panther was created as an antagonist and a defender of African Americans against the Ku Klux Klan. See, you put T'Challa at, he came out of Africa, but they had him here in the South beating the hell out of Klansmen in the original books and stuff, and going against Nazis and skinheads and stuff. And Stan Lee and them always having been some cats who, in their own way, believed in the civil rights movement. It was a great way at the time to put a black character in the main comic book platform of the day, and to bring it into this time and to use it in a way where instead of going back to the original storyline, they still kept the character in the spirit of what Black Panther always represented. And in a time that, like this modern time, technology and stuff can fool you to the condition of the people. So I just thought that overall the CGI graphics was dope. I love the storyline. The main actor, man, I done seen homie play James Brown, Thurgood Marshall. Yeah. He did the King movie. He's been in so many movies, and his range of character method acting is so good that he's turning out to be like he's going to be a Samuel L. Morgan Freeman type actor who just has that longevity in the community because of this. So it's interesting to see what the sequel will be. That movie was all the way dope, and I ain't got no problem saying it. And I want to say one thing, man. For people who was getting on black folk because they was just losing their head about Black Panther, there ain't nobody say nothing like that about all them white folk, man, when they run around in damn Darth Vader outfits and Stormtrooper outfits going crazy every time Star Wars come out and stuff like that. Don't nobody say nothing against them. So don't act like black people was just so crazy that they just believed. No, they understood the symbolism in it, and it touched a lot of people. So I understood it, and I ain't condemn nobody for that.
Once again, today's show is entitled T'Challa versus Eric Killmonger. Who was right? That number to call in is 319-527-6239. I see we have a lot of people listening to the show. We appreciate the family. Still trying to contact the other people that's supposed to be on the panel, but let's get this thing started. Let's deal with the showdown between T'Challa versus Eric Killmonger. All right, let's get to it. I mean, who you felt was right? Matter of fact, for those who didn't see the movie, I guess we got to get a little breakdown of what that showdown was about. Brother Josh, do you want to take a stab at that? Go ahead, Josh.
Yes, sir. And I heard that somebody say we're going to issue a spoiler alert. Major spoilers ahead. Just letting y'all know that right now. Getting down to the showdown, and it's interesting, too, because this movie among black people. Black people are as divided over this movie as Tanakh onlys and Messianics are over Jesus. And I mean, that's just the truth. And I've been watching it, and I wanted to wait, because I knew when it came out, even before it came out, I knew a lot of people were going to have a lot of stuff to say about it. So I wanted to kind of sit back and wait, check out the YouTube videos, see what everybody else thought. I even waited to see it before, before I even decided to get my view on it. I checked out everybody's reviews. So the overwhelming majority is saying that Killmonger was right. They say Killmonger is really the hero of that movie. And they're saying that because of what Killmonger wanted or claimed that he wanted for black people all around the world. There's this scene where he comes up, again, spoiler alert, where he finally makes his way into Wakanda, and he's telling T'Challa and all the other Wakandans, y'all living up in here comfortably. By the way, I saw the movie twice, and I'm very observant, so for me, that's a lot. And he was like, y'all up in here living comfortable while, people around the world who look just like us are struggling, And he was like, Wakanda has the tools to liberate them. And, and T'Challa was like, what tools? He's like, weapons, technology. So Killmonger actually wanted to use the advanced technology and weaponry of Wakanda to conquer the earth. That's what he wanted to do. And he said himself that he would kill anybody who opposes his plan. So a lot of people feel that T'Challa was weak because T'Challa didn't want to do it. And a lot of people miss the point of these movies. See, movies like this, they have morals. And what I mean is like the moral of the story. And if you miss the moral of the story, you're going to find yourself reading things into the movie that were not there. And I go online and I see people saying stuff about this movie that didn't even happen in the movie. You follow what I'm saying? I'm like, what movie were you watching? That did not even happen. Nobody said that. That's not even implied. But the moral of the movie is this. Now, this is not something that's debatable. This is just the moral of the movie. This is what they had in mind. You can just go back and look for yourself. They were trying to present Killmonger and T'Challa as flawed people. They were both flawed. You follow what I'm saying? But what they were trying to show the people was who was actually the more right. Because both of them were flawed. Killmonger wanted to accomplish everything by violence and brute force, while T'Challa didn't want to get involved at all. So you had two extremes. And that's often the case on Debate Talk for You. You got two parties arguing the opposite sides of two extremes. You follow what I'm saying? And they act like there's no middle ground. A lot of times in the Bible, a lot of things in the Bible are actually either or in some cases. And the Bible is all about balance. You follow what I'm saying? So the movie was trying to let you know that there are going to be some things that Killmonger says that you're going to agree with, particularly as a black person. And there are going to be some things that T'Challa says that you agree with, particularly as a black person. So the movie, if you were really paying attention, was trying to let you see that these guys both had two extremes. And if you notice, in the end of the movie, spoiler alert, T'Challa actually employed Killmonger's method to help black people. He just didn't do it in a violent way. And because T'Challa didn't want to go and, make everybody bow down to Wakanda with the sword, a lot of people are like, oh, he's weak. He's soft. I've seen people say that T'Challa's character symbolizes how we as black men should be emasculated and docile toward white supremacy. And that's just not the case. You follow what I'm saying? Like, even T'Challa said in the movie that, and I'm going to wrap it up here because I don't want to put too much out because I want to hear it from everybody else. Like I said, I'm more interested in hearing what everybody else thinks. But even he said in the movie when he visited the ancestor realm to his father and the rest of his ancestors that y'all were wrong because the Wakanda policy was we don't associate with other countries. We don't give foreign aid. We don't accept foreign aid. We don't get into any kind of exchange or anything. We're just a secret society. like us being poor and underprivileged, that's a front. You follow what I'm saying? There's symbolism, biblical symbolism. I don't want people to think I'm just coming on here just to talk about a movie. There's a lot of biblical symbolism in that movie, a lot of messianic stuff in that movie that I want to touch on particularly, and a lot of voodoo and witchcraft stuff, a lot of stuff that the Wakandans did and practiced that is just straight up forbidden by the scriptures. So I know a lot of people, I don't like the movie because that. It's a multi-layered movie system, bro. In other words, you're not going to get 100% biblical stuff, and you're not going to get 100% satanic stuff. It's going to be a blend of it all, just like today in the world, in the so-called conscious community. So at the end of the day, T'Challa was more right than Killmonger. Notice I'm saying more right, because there are some things that Killmonger said that were right. But T'Challa was more right, and that's the movie's perspective. That's the thinking that they want to put out there, that both of these guys' way of thinking are flawed, but who can be tweaked to be more right in the approach. But that's all I got for now.
All right, I like that answer. So you're saying that T'Challa was more right. Okay. We're going to run with that for now. Let's go to Robert Reed. What do you think, Rob?
Hey, well, you know what? Let me address one little thing first. First and foremost, I grew up, on comics. I was reading comic books for a little while. I even had a comic book store. I was reading comics all the time. So I'm familiar with, Marvel. And, I'm familiar with comics in general, but, Marvel has always been my favorite. So to see these characters that come off the page and be in movies, especially in a time where the technology can really, capture what my imagination was doing when I was reading the comic books as a little kid, I just think that's fantastic and amazing. So that right there, I just want to kind of get that out of the way with a little bit of the background. I also want to say that I like what Zadok was saying when he opened up, and he was just saying, a lot of people were, getting upset and just upset at people of color for pretty much taking pride in, a movie of this particular magnitude. And then people began to pick it apart. And this is just some of the things that I was seeing. Because like Josh, I would go online, I'd go look at some blogs, just kind of get the opinion. I even looked at some of the interviews from around the world. How were people with Asian backgrounds, how did they feel about the movie and stuff like that. So I was getting all that perspective in there because I wanted to have, a 360-degree view on the movie. I didn't want just my own personal enjoyment and my own personal perspective on it, even though I enjoyed it tremendously. I mean, I really enjoyed it tremendously. I liked the movie. I also want to get one other thing out of the way because I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I did hear some of the ladies' show, and one of the things that kind of pops out, and I want to get it out of the way right now, is that I think we get some, and I don't mean it as an insult, but I think we get some overzealous Israelites that are saying, hey, you shouldn't watch this, that's of the devil, and this and that, and, that's just, Satan worshiping and all that other stuff. First and foremost, this is a comic book movie. It is science fantasy, okay? This is not a Hebrew Israelite movie, so I want to just put that on the table. And, again, this is no shade towards, what Josh is talking about because he's picking out, some of the things that you can find, some of the parallels. So I understand that. But I'm just saying people get upset and be like, well, this doesn't honor that. If we really went down that line, you can't watch anything, okay? Because 99% of the stuff on TV is not honoring the Torah, and you guys, know what I mean. So I just kind of want to get that out of the way so we can actually enjoy our little discussion of it. Because I don't know. I just have a feeling that someone's going to get on the phone and be like, why are we even, I'm like, okay, so then you can't watch anything. You can't watch a sitcom. You can't watch a movie. You can't watch anything, okay? Because we're not in a world where it is led and Israelites are ruling and the Most High is ruling and everything's righteous. We just don't live in that kind of world. So anyway, to get back to the topic, the discussion, I do see both sides when we ask the question on who's right, Killmonger or T'Challa. Now, to answer the question right out the gate, I side with T'Challa, but I cannot say that Killmonger is 100% wrong. I just can't do that. Because if my first point was like, I do think both of them are right. But Killmonger, we have to remember, he's a product of his father being murdered by his uncle, strike one. Strike two, him being abandoned by his own countrymen, by his uncle. His father's murdered, and then then he's abandoned, left there in Compton, in L.A. I forgot which city they were in, but I believe it's Compton, and left there. Again, like Josh said, spoiler alert. If you hadn't seen the movie, you really got to hang up the phone. So he's a product from that. So like he said himself, he said, hey, I spent my whole life for this moment because he wanted he wanted retribution. He wanted retribution. And like Josh said, he wanted to make things better for black people or people of color in general. He's like, look, you guys have cures and technology and all this other stuff that could help other people, and you're just sitting here, behind these walls and not helping people where you could. So how can I be mad at that? Now, what I can be mad at or what I can disagree is his method. He has extreme methods to bring about his desired end, whatever that may be. And it seems like he just wanted to liberate and help black people. I don't know. I don't know. That's what it seems like. But the way he wants to go about it, it's almost like a parallel between, Malcolm and Dr. King, kind of sort of like that. One may be a little more extreme than the other. So I can see what Killmonger was right. He had American sensitivity. He had a right to be bitter considering what happened to his father and ultimately what happened to him as a result of what happened to his father, okay? And then T'Challa, I don't put a whole lot on T'Challa because he was completely ignorant of what his father did. He was completely ignorant of his father's transgression. He had no idea his dad did all that stuff. And if we remember, for those who've seen the movie, he looked up to his dad. His dad was T'Challa's father was his hero until he found out what happened. Okay, he was completely ignorant of it. But case in point, when he went to the ancestral plane and talked to the ancestors, including his father, he admonished them and the ancestors. And he told them, hey, you were wrong. Dad, you're wrong, and all of you guys are wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong. We created this monster, or you created this monster. T'Challa was the one who was left to deal with the result of his father's actions, okay, as a whole, with Killmonger in particular, and then, them living behind walls and like Josh was saying, no foreign aid, not giving it, not taking it, and just being very, very secluded as a country. Because the rest of the world just out there, just some poor nation hidden away in Africa somewhere, just a bunch of farmers and stuff like that. So I can't really be mad at T'Challa at all because he was completely ignorant of it. And when he found out, he took action. Okay, obviously he didn't agree with Killmonger's methods, but he did take action and he wanted to make things right. So ultimately I'm going to side with T'Challa, but I'm not going to say that Killmonger was dead wrong because I don't think he was. But T'Challa, he told the ancestors that they were wrong for cutting off, Wakanda from the rest of the world because they did have some things. And I have another point I want to make, but I want to kind of just stay on the point where we are. And I don't want to take up everybody's time. I want to give Brother Zadok a chance to give his perspective on it. But in summation, I believe I'm going to have to roll with T'Challa, even though I do not think Killmonger was dead wrong. I just think his methods were too extreme. And I'll pass the mic.
And we're going to touch on that as far as, the technology that Wakanda had. Should they distribute that to the rest of the world, or should they keep it there in Wakanda? We're going to touch on all of those things. But Zadok, what's your perspective? Who do you think was more right, T'Challa or Eric Killmonger?
Of course, I think T'Challa was right. Just like us as human beings, all of our righteousness is filthy rags in the context of inheriting eternal life and getting this justification from God. So it is not us that we don't justify ourselves. It's the redeeming work of God and His love for us that is the true redeeming factor for man. And so with that being said, I agree with Brother Josh that he had his flaws, Killmonger, just as T'Challa had his flaws, because man, in his attempt to try and come to a conclusion, might mess up, even when he has the best intentions. The whole thing about Killmonger was the fact that he was willing to do the grimiest and shadiest things. Killed his own girlfriend, who put her life on the line for him and put herself in danger for him. to accomplish his task. He came as if he was coming to bring a peace, but what he wasn't going to bring a peace to them people. He was about to make these people oppressors. And, it reminded me of something that young Fred Hampton said in an interview one time. One of the I don't think he gets talked about enough in the Black Panther movement because he was in Chicago. He wasn't in Cali with Huey and them boys. That man said, look, if you really going to bring forth revolution, the people have to be educated on what the goal of the revolution is and what things will look like. And the people have to be educated on how they play the part together, because you're going to have to totally not just destroy a system, but you're going to have to destroy the total way it works in order to build something better. And I don't think that Killmonger had all of humanity. He made all of humanity his enemy and going after his own people for, like what Brother Rob pointed out, for the betrayal and everything, the abandonment he felt, and him getting revenge on his people. He is going to use the people to basically become what he hated and what drove him. That's the irony of it. It's just like, us as young men, for some of us who might have grown up with just our mothers and our fathers wasn't around and we felt abandoned and we hated that thing, and then you become older and you start feeling yourself and you get into your fornication years and all of that nonsense. And now all of a sudden, here you go bringing a child or two in the world, and now you're not really in their life like that. And you start to slowly not realize, if you're not careful, you're becoming the exact thing that made you feel abandoned when you were young. And so I just thought that even though I understood totally why he had what he had in him, that wasn't his method wasn't justified. When that man basically wanted to kill there being any other Black Panther after him, he wasn't even interested in possibly having children to carry on. So it was like, I love the message of, in your pursuit of revenge, even though people can understand why you want revenge, if you're not careful, you're even going to destroy yourself. In Israel, man, if a man died, his brother had the ability to take the wife, if they both were willing, and raise up an heir to his brother so that his brother's name wouldn't be cut off in the earth. He was cutting off the very thing that made them powerful. And then when the people, when the elder mother was like, no, we can't do that all. When he grabbed her by her throat, homie, and picked her up, I was done with, son. Like, you don't treat the women of your people like that, and you don't do these different things. And it was such hatred was in that man's so hard, heart so hard that, in the words of the great prophet Lil Boosie, he was hypnotized. Not hypnotized, y'all. He was hypnotized with hatred. Hypnotized with hatred. So, I felt him, and in spite of T'Challa's flaws, and this is the one thing that I dug the whole time, T'Challa had to fight him because he had taken the throne. And when he got the best of him in that fight at the end, once he was down and he knew he was wounded, he didn't kick him down and take him out for the count because he loved him. He really wanted to save that man's life because he felt the people and the kingdom owed him a second chance. And Killmonger and all of his bloodlust, he refused it. So some people was like, in the movie theater, Cass was like, ooh, that was the hardest line when he was like, why, to be a prisoner? My thing is, he assumed that that's what T'Challa wanted to do, but he had the right to think. He didn't have no reason to really trust T'Challa because his hatred was towards T'Challa's father. So he had no reason to trust T'Challa, but T'Challa, he would have took the Black Panther power from him, and I don't think he would have imprisoned him. So
now, were you guys? Okay, go ahead.
Now, Killmonger. I just want to end it with this. If Killmonger, if the fight would have went reversed and he would have got T'Challa in the end like that with that move, I think he would have just took him totally out. because of the condition of his heart. So even on one hand, T'Challa had to fight and do what he had to do, he still was holding out hope to the end that somehow, now that I got the upper hand and you see you can't win, let it go. I understand. Like join me. Like, I can heal you, bruh. Join me. And that willingness to heal someone who has made themselves your enemy, I think that's a hidden aspect of the gospel, that loving your enemy. And when you see him in his down moment, helping. What does the Lord say? If you see him naked, thirsty, or hungry, help him. And in doing so, you heap hot coals upon his conscience. I think T'Challa, all that little subliminal stuff, just like Josh was talking. So I dug Killmonger. His swag was on 99,000 when they opened that scene with that man standing in that museum. Okay? But in the end, the way he carried himself, we couldn't condone that in real life. So, of course, I couldn't give his character the thumbs up once everything played out.
All right, I see we got people pressing number 1. We're going to go to the people real soon again, and you want to share your comments, what you thought about the movie, The Black Panther. That number is 319-527-6239. If you're already on the phone line, simply press number 1, and we'll gladly hear from you. Or you can send me an email, debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. Now, a lot of people that, saw the movie, if you watch a lot of the movie reviews, they're saying that Eric Killmonger was right to a certain degree. What was he right about? Let's talk about that. What was he right about? Brother Josh, go ahead.
I appreciate that, Sal. Well, obviously, he was right about wanting to liberate all of his black brothers and sisters from oppression around the world. There's no doubt about that. He was also right about the fact that Killmonger's whole perspective is, and this is actually a biblical perspective too. A lot of people don't understand this. If you have the means to help and better your brother, whether he's black, white, or whatever, if you have the means to do so, then you are just as guilty if you don't do anything as if you are causing the problem yourself. In other words, if Sal, I'm just using Sal as an example, say if Sal was homeless on the streets through no wrongdoing of his own, he just, came from some bad luck. And I'm a freaking millionaire, and I know Sal, and I walk past him every day and don't offer him any help. From a scriptural perspective, by me not helping Sal, it's as if I made Sal in that condition myself. So that was Killmonger's perspective. He was like, if you have the means to help your brother and you don't, then you might as well have been the one that put him in that condition in the first place. And that's the reason why he was like, you know what? Radical change is in order. And what people don't understand is that Wakanda and their policies, they created Killmonger. Their exclusiveness, their elitism, their refusal to help others in need, they're turning a blind eye to other people who desperately need their help. They created Killmonger, just like white supremacist America created the Black Panthers. That's what people don't understand. Like, these things arise out of anger and or necessity. And that is the reason why T'Challa was able to somewhat embrace some of Killmonger's views. He even told, as Robert Reed pointed out, and I had mentioned it earlier too, he even told his father and the ancestors when he visited the ancestral plane, y'all wrong. You were wrong. But who put that in his head? Who influenced him to go back and rebuke thousands of years of tradition and tell them it was wrong? It was Killmonger. He wasn't like, yo, Killmonger is crazy, I'm gonna get him under control and we're gonna go back to square one where we all to ourselves and don't care about nobody but Wakandans. No, he went back and he was like, you know what? Y'all wrong. I mean, he was angry. If you haven't seen the movie or you missed that point, go back and look at that. He was mad. He was like, yo, y'all were wrong, because they wanted him to just stay dead, because at that point in the movie he was close to death. And they was like, come join us on the ancestral plane. And he was like, no, I got work to do. Y'all wrong. I have to fix all of this mess that y'all have been perpetuating for the last few thousand years. And a lot of people miss that in the movie. They don't see
that T'Challa admitted in the movie that Killmonger was right. But a lot of people miss this too, Sal, and this is what I want to point out. Before Killmonger even came to Wakanda and proposed his plan, T'Challa's ex was already telling him that he needs to help other people and think about other people besides Wakanda. See, a lot of people think about Killmonger and all that stuff when his queen, T'Challa's queen, was already telling him that. And T'Challa was like, no, he didn't want to hear it from her. But then when Killmonger came, and sometimes that's how it is with us, we don't want to hear it when it's being told beautifully and respectfully, a change we need to make. We want to be stubborn. We want to stay set in our ways. And that's what the movie was trying to show you, beautiful sister coming, with humbleness, meekness, gentleness, women, that's the softer sex. Y'all know that. She's trying to tell him, look, man, we can help other people and still maintain defense of ourselves and our way of life. T'Challa like, no, I'm just working. He wanted to stay with tradition. So he didn't want to hear it from the humble sister. So, the rough brother had to come and make him see it. And he had to almost die twice. Y'all understand what I'm saying? He had to almost die twice before he could realize that, even though Killmonger has an extreme perspective on how to fix this, he's not wrong. We can do more. And that's why at the end of the movie, he started on social programs, and he bought these buildings in the hood. You know what I'm saying? A little fun fact, the movie was set in Oakland. That's where I started off at. That's the origin of the real Black Panther movement. And they did it on purpose. And if you go back and watch the movie, you'll see, pictures and posters of the Black Panthers up in Killmonger's father's apartment, in the beginning of the movie. Go back and check that stuff out. I'll be catching little stuff like that. So that's what people don't get. T'Challa changed his view. He said Killmonger was right. He just didn't agree with how Killmonger went about doing it. But people want to bash T'Challa and make it seem like he's soft because he don't want to go on a killing spree. He don't want to go all one West doctrine on the rest of the world. He's more like Christian. He got a soft approach. Look, we ain't got to kill everybody. There's a way we can go about this. So this is what I was saying, Killmonger was right, and T'Challa admitted that he was right. But there's a difference between, you can do sometimes, and I'm going to leave it at this, sometimes you can do the right thing the wrong way. Y'all think about that.
There we go. Once again, it's Debate Talk for you radio. T'Challa versus Eric Killmonger. Who had the truth? Who was right? The number is 319-527-6239. I see we got people that press number 1. We're going to get to you guys. Just stand by. We're going to get to the people. We want to hear from the people. So, again, if you have any comments or anything you want to say about the movie yourself, give your own views. The number is 319-527-6239. Let's go to Rob. Rob, same question goes to you. Yeah, someone want to say something?
No, go ahead. I was letting you
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, Rob, what was Eric Killmonger right about specifically? Go ahead.
You know what? If I look at it I want to hit it from different angles because I'm going to find myself echoing some of what Brother Josh was talking about and what Brother Zadok was saying. So let me just hit it from a different angle. What he was right about emotionally and logically. And what I mean by that, he had a right to feel the way he felt because of his circumstance, because a lot of us are products of our environment. Sometimes we choose to ascend from that particular place. That doesn't mean that, when you're a product of your environment that you have to, like if we come from humble beginnings, come up poor. I mean, I come up really poor in the hood, with nothing, public assistance, the whole 9 yards. But that doesn't mean just because I'm from that I have to turn out and be a drug dealer or a gangbanger or anything like that. I'm not saying that. We all know that it's your choice, okay? But what I am saying is that Killmonger is a part of his environment. That means we can all look at his situation and see how and why he turned out the way he turned out. So he had a right to feel bitter. That's what I mean by the emotional side. He has a right to feel bitter considering what I said, in the beginning. My father was murdered by my uncle, and I was abandoned as a little kid. I mean, yeah, most of us will feel some type of way about that. You know, we're going to feel something about that. You know, then you're also going to feel bitter and abandoned when you grow up learning a little bit more about, you know, your home country, Wakanda. You start that they could do something about your situation or could have done something about your situation, period. Could have done something. You would feel some type of way about that. So he had a right to feel the way he felt about the whole thing, which is why he said, you know, I've been waiting my whole life for this. Everything I've done led me up to this moment, meaning when he went into the military and he went on these dangerous missions and like when they were giving his dossier and saying, hey, when he was going to war and killing people, he had a method to his madness. Believe me, he was definitely a mad person. And I don't mean mad and just angry too. You know, he was a little off. But at the same time, I'm not changing my stance. He was right. Okay, his methods were very extreme. He had a right to feel how he felt. He had a right to kind of process things the way he processed it, meaning, hey, Wakanda's sitting over here in luxury when they could have helped people. Yeah, he had a right to think that. He had a right to his thoughts. He had a right to his emotions. Okay, the only thing I think all of us take exception to is the methods that he was willing to go to bring about his desired end. You know, so we're never, you know, obviously we're never going to co-sign, you know, his methods and stuff like that. But he certainly had a right to feel the way he felt. You know, and by no means am I trying to paint him as a quote unquote good guy, because no, he wasn't a good guy. And on the T'Challa front, hey, you know what? I don't put a lot of onus on T'Challa, and I'm not saying that T'Challa was without flaw, you know, because I think Brother Josh put it very eloquently that, you know, he was a little blinded when, you know, his I don't want to say fiance, but anyway, when he was told about some of the things that they should do, wouldn't want to listen. Killmonger comes along, and ultimately, when he went to the ancestral plane, it's just like Josh had said, and what I alluded to as well. He told, hey, you're wrong. You know, Killmonger was right. He even said, hey, you created a monster. We created a monster. Okay? So, yeah, you know, he's definitely the product of everything that would happen. I mean, hey, things could have been different. I mean, we're playing a hypothetical game now, but things could have been different if they did that, you know, murdered his father but still brought him back to Wakanda. Hey, I don't know. Maybe they would have been bringing home a cancer. I don't know. But, you know, hey, it was a really tough situation to begin with. Whether his father ended up being murdered and then you bring him home, guess what? He's going to grow up in Wakanda knowing that his king uncle killed his father and have a right to the throne by blood, by heritage. So I don't know. Maybe that's why his father left him. I'm not justifying, but I'm just saying he had a right to feel how he felt. So I'm just going to go from that angle as far as, you know, what was he right about specifically. He had a right to feel that way, you know, considering his circumstance.
Yeah, and Rob, remember that's what we spoke about behind the scenes in regards to whether they should have bring him back to Wakanda or leave him.
Yep.
The States, I told you, I said if they brought him back to Wakanda, eventually he's going to find out. Yep. You know that his father got killed, and now he knows the ins and outs of Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it could be more birthright, but you know, for my 2 cents. But go ahead, Zadok, my bad. Oh, by the way, we're gonna have Ron Devon Prospect hit me up. He's gonna be calling in a few minutes as well. But go ahead, Zadok, give your perspective.
Yeah, I don't really think I have too much more to add to what them brothers said. I think that they both were right, and what he said about sitting in your lavish comfort here all of these years and this, that, and the third. But I think that, you know, I think Josh was bringing out a good point about T'Challa. Interesting was how he had to come to the realization. At first he asked his father, I want to be a great king like you. And his father said, you have a good heart, like you're a good dude. And it's hard for good-hearted men to be kings. And what did his father mean by that? Like he inherited a tradition of keeping themselves, you know, hidden from the world kind of thing. And what was interesting was he wanted to be like his father. So you usually handed the throne from your father. You're taught how to run the empire the way that it's been ran from generations. So it made sense for him at first to be like, well, no, I gotta, my concern is Wakanda and blah blah blah. But what was interesting was Josh brought out a point. His girl, or the girl he was in love with at the time, she was like, yo, because he ain't been out there like that. She had been, in the rough, like with, people being kidnapped and women being sold and all that. In the movie, that's how he got her back from some dudes who done kidnapped some girls and know what they gonna do with them. And she out there, so she see what suffering is. So sometimes you don't understand the urgency of someone else telling you right away because they're telling you from an experience, but that's not an experience that you've really experienced. Like you haven't really seen it, how they've seen it and felt it. But what was interesting was from the beginning, it showed you the kind of heart he had because his father told him, no, man, you're going to have to get people around you who you trust. And you're going to have to be able to like hear what they say and consider it. After he had the convo with her, he went to his man who who protected the border, that clan that had the rhinos. You know the first thing he said to him? He was like, yo, I forget what her name was in the movie, but he was like, yo, she's saying like we kind of need to open up, like we need to kind of share. Like, you think she right? So right there, right away, they letting you know he was considering what she was saying. But of course he wouldn't probably know what to do, but just the thought that she said it to him, like Josh pointed out, the next scene when he go see your man with the rhinos, he like, yo, she's saying, we should probably open up more. Like, what do you think about that? And his man who protect the borders like, bruh, if you want us to go out in the world, he said, if you want me to take my men and go free our people all over the world, I'll do it right now. But other than that, I don't think we should be opening up and sharing everything we got with the world because then everybody going to flock into our borders and then we like everywhere else. So from the beginning, he had to start to learn how to hear different voices and in the end find out who he could trust. And Killmonger just came and kicked the door open like, homie, if you don't take this and do what needs to be done, I will take this power you got and I will destroy the world and try to rebuild it again in my image. But with this power, you have a responsibility to save your people. But he didn't. He went to do two things. In the end, Oakland, he went to go start to do some things where we're in the hood and we're going to start to try to help our people. But he also went to the United Nations and said, this ain't just about my people, though. In order to lead the world, you're going to have to include all of humanity. So it was just some great, great stuff in there, man. And Killmonger, you could say he was the sacrificial energy that went into letting T'Challa know, like, nah, yeah, if one who was abandoned by us has this kind of hatred in his heart and it almost went here and almost lost the throne in the empire, man, what could happen if an enemy finds out what we have and they want to come in and take it? So let us be in front of it by revealing some things to the world, and whatever they're going to reveal, I still don't think they was going to just let open the floodgates, but they was going to slow by slow start to share their ideas with the nation. So, yeah, man, very interesting stuff.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, did I miss something? It just went blank.
Did Sal fall out?
Yeah, definitely sounding like.
Sal may have fallen out the conversation.
Are you there?
That happened once or twice.
Yeah, you had to call and bring yourself back in. Then he the one moderating the show, so we're still on. That means he's still around. We're still on. He probably just called.
Yeah, true.
Don't have to hear before. He just got to call back in.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. He'll call back in. But I will.
Yeah.
We won't move forward. But I just wanted to just tag on what Zadok was saying about how Killmonger changed to T'Challa, and I'm just going to agree with that because I think a lot of times, the villains make the hero a lot of times. I mean, the Joker made Batman. You could say Lex Luthor or Zod made Superman. Sometimes the villain defines T'Challa because T'Challa didn't really become T'Challa until after his encounter with Killmonger. And that was just one movie, but I think T'Challa became more fleshed out and gain perspective after the whole Killmonger incident. So I agree with Zadok when he was saying that.
Yeah, all right, fellas, are y'all ready to go to the phone lines? And hear
Yes,
from the
sir.
people? All right, let's go to the phone lines. Once again, that number is 319-527-6239. Let's see what the audience got to say. Let's go to 315-863. You're live. Three 315-863. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Shalom, shalom. Can you hear me? This is Mine. My bad. My jump was on mute.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Nothing much. Just wanted to say what's up to all the panels, Brother Josh, the Doc. Be quiet, Daddy, on the phone. And Brother Rodney, or Rob Hood. And I just wanted to talk about Killmonger and the T'Challa and how I saw the movie and I felt like Killmonger, what everybody said was correct and accurate, but I just wanted to piggyback off of what Zadok was talking about and how they show Killmonger as such a savage in the movie, and then that people was really relating to Killmonger the most. And that just it was weird to me how people was relating to the fact that this dude will do anything evil to get whatever he wanted. So I just want, if the panel could they touch on that and then touch on how people can relate to the Killmonger character and all of the things that he portrayed, you know, and then how people made him the hero of the movie, if they could touch on that.
Well, you know what? I think you, in my opinion, I think you hit it right on the head, was that people relate to Killmonger. He's American. You know, yeah, he's Wakandan by blood and heritage, but he's American. So the Americans, they relate to that. They relate to they sympathize and empathize with his plight. So they're like, hey, you know what? Technically, he's a hero because he came from what they came from. And then with Killmonger making statements, you know, like, hey, you know what? You know, I'm going to liberate my people, you know, people of color and all this other stuff, then, yeah, people are going to rally behind that versus someone like T'Challa, or I should say the tradition of Wakanda, to keep the borders closed and just stay to ourselves and stuff like that. So I think people kind of gravitated towards Killmonger because he was almost like a man of the people, so to speak. Now, again, I'm not trying to make him a good guy, but he is relatable. That's why, you know, if you look at what's going on with social media and all the commentary and stuff like that, and they're kind of, you know, propping him up and everything, is because, hey, he's American, he's relatable. I mean, he's vicious, he's savage, but, again, people sometimes excuse that because they feel like it's justified.
All right, Zadok. Yeah, Zadok, you there?
Yeah, bro. Hey, what up, Ant? Hey, bro, was your event yesterday in Syracuse, fam?
Not my event in particular, not the one I'm throwing myself, but another one was probably, but not mine.
Oh, okay, yeah. Keep me posted on that. But first of all, salute to you, shalom to you and your family. I think what's interesting about that dynamic is there's something in our people that almost in a way ties into how we sometimes can find ourselves errantly. On one hand, we don't like evil when it's done to us, but we will cheer on somebody who may have done bad, but at the same time, the system is so unfair to us to kind of see somebody kind of, if you will, stick it to the man. That kind of plays into an irony of our psyche as a people. You know how many people I know believe OJ done it back in the day and didn't care? They was just happy to see that they felt white people with money always can pay to get themselves out of what it seemed like they clearly guilty of. If OJ is clearly guilty, we glad to see a black man spend his money and get out of it too. That dynamic. Some people probably believe like, yo, I don't think he did it. But it was a lot of people who was like, you know what, even if he did it, it's just good to see a black man get off, even if he's guilty. And that's just our flaw as man in siding with that. It just shows that even if we got some good tendencies, that is mired by the filthiness that still exists in us. You know how many dudes I know in the hood love Scarface, the movie? They loved Kane and Menace to Society. You know how many dudes wanted to be O-Dog after seeing Menace? Like, son, that dude was crazy. And they glorify it. So I think Killmonger was an example of just that villain who you know is wrong, but like Brother Rob said, because you identify with some aspects of his plight that drove him to have this hatred, you see why some cats don't mind standing on the corners. You know, on one hand, you know, if it was, James White caught some flack recently for some statement he made about him feeling that Hebrew Israelites who preach hate in a doctrine are worse these days than the KKK these days in his sight, right? And, you know, people can argue about that, but this is what's interesting. If the KKK stood on a corner of any city in America and said and spewed their hatred for black folk today, black people would be offended. But some of them same black people wouldn't really feel the same when they see Hashar from AOC or Priest Daniela and these dudes, when they stand on the corner and they'll call a white man a devil and a pig to his face and say that, when the Lord give us the kingdom, we'll kill you and take your woman and make her our slave kind of stuff. They don't feel the exact same way because even if the spirit of it seems similar, you feel like finally we get to kind of return that evil with an equal type of evil. And that's what Christ warned us about, railing for railing, evil for evil. So I just think that just shows that we still got a long way to go as a people. We want liberty, but if you can side with Killmonger, that's still something in us that shows us the Most High still got the right to take his time with bringing true deliverance the way we would want it, because there's still that thing in us that need to be taken out. You 100% right, and I couldn't see him as the hero even though I understood him, but I know mad cats who was like, nah, he was the one who was right. I'm talking about on some old like, yo, T'Challa was a sucker. He should have killed that dude and took the kingdom and blah, blah, blah. So it is what it is.
All right, we're going to go to Brother Josh, and after that, we're going to get some other phone callers out there that's standing by. We appreciate you. Just press number 1 if you want to chime in. We're going to the family out there. And in regards to the movie, title is T'Challa versus Eric Killmonger. Who was right? Let's go to Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
Thank you, Sal. And some pretty good input to Zadok and Mr. Reed. I don't know why for some reason I just like to call him Mr. Reed. I don't know. Anyway, I can understand. yeah, I can understand why black people relate more to Killmonger than they do to T'Challa. I mean, I understand it perfectly clear. I mean, we are an emotional people, especially if we feel we have been wronged. I mean, when you really think about it, all of us over here in America, as black people, we, for the most part, don't have anything in common with T'Challa. We weren't raised as a prince. We weren't looked upon as royalty. Do y'all really think T'Challa ever heard of a food stamp, government cheese, know what it feels like to actually be hungry? He's been pampered and catered to his whole life. So as an oppressed and disenfranchised people, we can't relate to that, but we can relate to Killmonger. Number one, he grew up without a father, and he did not have a father as a result of a violent confrontation, something else a lot of black men can identify with. Plus, Killmonger was all about overthrowing his oppressors. Now, I don't care if you follow Martin Luther King's philosophy or Malcolm X's philosophy. At the end of the day, we can all agree that both Martin Luther King and Malcolm X wanted the oppression to stop. So Killmonger wanted oppression to stop. So I can see why more people identify with him. And it's a natural human reaction to want to seek revenge when you have been wronged. I mean, we are in the word, and, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. We know that. But the natural reflex to somebody doing something wrong to you is you doing something wrong right back to them. Like, for instance, Zadok is one of the most mellow brothers I've ever come across. But I don't think that if Zadok was walking down the street and somebody just, for no reason, just balled up their fist and just, went off in his mouth, he's just going to be like, hey. No. I think the natural reaction is going to be he's going to ball up his fist and strike back, especially if it's a jerk reaction. You're going to think about it later, and you may feel bad about your reaction later. So this is the reason why, and later on, I was going to get into the propaganda of the movie. Because there's a lot of stuff in movies, and this is what I want everybody to understand. Before there was a such thing as movies, everything was books. And books are written for one reason and one reason only, other than entertaining you, that is. And that is to influence the thoughts and emotions of the reader. And everybody, for the most part, can side with Killmonger as black people because we all feel like society and mostly the white race should be punished for what they did to us. It's a natural reaction, and this is the reason why a lot of people are like, yeah, Killmonger was right. No, Killmonger was not right. So, brothers, Killmonger said out his own mouth that he killed his own people on the very continent that he was challenging T'Challa on. Whenever your movement is about saving your people, and then you start killing the very people you're trying to save, then it's no longer a real movement. If I have to kill, like, let's just say, for instance, if I felt I had to kill everybody on Debate Talk for You to save them, then how am I any better than anybody else that wants to kill y'all? I'm no different. And see, Killmonger distorted Malcolm X's view of by any means necessary, and a lot of black people do that today. I've seen people say about Killmonger, well, by any means necessary. So he killed his own woman, who had been down with him the whole movie. By any means necessary. That's not what Malcolm X meant, by the way, people, when he said by any means necessary. Malcolm X did not mean kill your own brothers and sisters. He did not mean that. When he said by any means necessary, he means do anything that is necessary to overthrow the oppressor without having to resort to the ways and practices of the oppressor. You got a lot of black people right now will probably kill a white man for calling them the N-word, but we call each other the N-word every day. You follow what I'm saying? Even the Bible tells you, he said, envy not thine oppressor, neither learn any of his ways. That's in Proverbs. But what did Killmonger do? He envied his oppressor because obviously he was jealous of what the oppressor had, by oppressing black people. And he learned his oppressor's ways. What did the oppressor do? The oppressor enslaved and killed black people. Killmonger was bragging about it. He wasn't even sorry about it. He was like, man, I feel bad that I had to do this, but I had to do what I had to do to get at you, T'Challa. No, he was bragging. He even took off his shirt to show the battle mark. Because every time he killed somebody, he put a little notch on him, which, by the way, is an actual African thing. Look into that. Not for necessarily killing somebody, but those markings on his body, that exist in some African tribes for real. Look just like that. That's just a little fun fact. But he's taking off his shirt, and he's bragging. Look at all these people I've killed. He's not even sorry. So these are what people say, well, sometimes you got to sacrifice people, to get to your, your objective or your goal. But Killmonger didn't see it as sacrifice. Because when you sacrifice your brother, if you felt you had to sacrifice your brother who you love to really, achieve the mission, you're not going to brag about it later. You're going to be sorrowful. You're going to be like mourning about it. He's bragging about it. I did all this to get to you. So Killmonger was not right because he became, I think either Robert Reed said that or Zadok, he became exactly what he hated, and that's what the propaganda is, and that's what I see in the conscious community, and that's what I see among the racist Black Hebrews. But I'm going to chill for now because I want to hear from the people. Sal, you there?
Did we lose Sal again, guys?
I think Sal has some problems tonight, y'all.
We got you, Zadok?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm back, fellas. I'm back. All right, yeah, you know, they're trying to find my brother Ron Devine Prospect. If you're out there, brother, press number 1. We have a lot of callers on the phone line. But let's go to the next person. Again, the title of the show, T'Challa versus Killmonger. Who was right? Who had the truth? The number's 319-527-6239. Let's hear what the people got to say. Let's go to 716-885. You're live on air.
Hi, Shalom. I'm Jerusalem, Elder Moses' daughter, and I love listening to this show. And I agree with Brother Zadok because I think that two rights don't make a wrong, and two wrongs don't make a right, and they were both wrong and being selfish, and Killmonger just decided at the end of the movie to just let himself die, and I just thought that was kind of ridiculous. Like, what was the purpose of that? So, yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
All right, anybody want to say anything? Anybody? Go
ahead. Hey, Juju, that's my brother. That's one of the brothers in my congregation. That's his daughter. That's a product of our influence right there, for good or for bad. And yeah, it's good to hear you listening. That's a young lady on a Friday night. Believe me, she's not being forced to listen to Debate Talk for You. So that's a young lady right there. About let me see, I think she's about roughly 14, or about 14 or so now, and she's choosing to sit on a Sabbath night and listen to her elder teacher, one of her elder teachers, me, and the rest of you brothers discuss this thing. So I just want to say kudos to you, young lady. That's impressive. I did not expect to hear your voice tonight. But yeah, she said she agreed with me, so I ain't got too much to say.
Okay, now praise God.
Yeah, man. You know, we appreciate the callers out there. Like I told y'all, we got the little ones checking out too, the teenagers, all of that, checking out the show. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go to the next caller though. Let's go to 754-300. You're live.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, Brother Josh, hey, Doc, Robert Reed. How you guys doing?
How's it going?
Hey,
this
sis.
Is kind of, this is kind of directed to Brother Josh, only because I just finished looking at your book of Eli, with Denzel, how you kind of broke it all down. So I really enjoyed it, by the way. All y'all need to check it out.
There you go.
So, I noticed something, and I just wanted to know what your input is on it. When you first get to Killmonger, like they did like
I'm having a hard time understanding. You. It sound like you're going in and out on my end.
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up a little bit.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me better? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah,
you're better now.
Okay, good. What I was saying was that when you see Killmonger, when he's first shown on the movie, they did like a long scene, and he's standing up from the back. It looked like he was wearing fringes, from what I saw. And then at the end of the movie, when he's about to die, he made a statement. I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember exactly what it was, but he said, I would rather, he was saying something about like how my people jumped off the slave ships because they knew it was better to die than, I guess, to be in slavery. Is that some kind of hint towards our people to tell them, like, yeah, you are the lost tribe of Israel? Or am I just seeing things within that statement? So I just wanted to get your input on that.
Well, if you pull up that image, because I just pulled it up, you know what I'm saying, and you can pull up that image of him in the museum, and it does appear, at least from the image I'm looking at, that he was wearing from the back what looked like fringes. He definitely had a robe on that had like the four corners of his vesture, right? Now, what was your question again? The second part of your question? Oh, yeah.
I wanted to know.
I remember. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got a little distracted. I was looking at this picture. Yes, when he said I'd rather he said what he said was just bury me at sea because my ancestors, I'm paraphrasing too, they had the right idea. They chose death rather than prison or being in prison. And that's based on the old saying, give me liberty or give me death. That's all he was basically saying. You follow what I'm saying? Like, give me liberty or give me death. And I don't want to be in prison. So it's either free me or let me die. That's an old saying. I forgot who said, you can look it up, Google it. Like, just Google in, who said, give me liberty or give me death. And that's what he was talking about. Interesting thing, too, about that scene in the museum. Another little fun fact, if you notice, he was talking to the white museum curator. And she was breaking all this stuff down to him, and he was just going along with it. A lot of people don't remember this from the movie, but Killmonger was very, very educated. You know,
yeah, he was.
I think he went to MIT or something. He was a very educated brother. You know, he made a lot of his life despite his circumstances. He was military, combat ready. He got an education. You know, he was very articulate, very perceptive, you know, strategic, all that stuff. But he was correcting her, and then when he said, "No, this right here from Wakanda," and he said, "Don't worry, I'll be taking it out of your hand." And she was like, "This is not for sale." He said, "How do you think your ancestors got this? You know, you think they gave a fair price for it?" He said, "Or did they just take it?" So he was basically breaking down how white society, and I'm not racist, I'm just giving out the perspective of the movie. He was basically talking about how, right, everybody know that. I just got to put that out there, disclaimer.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, he was basically putting out there how white society have taken our culture and put it on display, and we're not even allowed to touch it. It belongs to us, but they got it in their museum, and we can't even take it. We can't even touch it. Like,
but you know what it made me think about, Josh? I don't mean to cut you off, but you know what it made me think about? Just hearing what you just said, it makes me think about even the land now in Africa, how they're taking the land back, and people are saying, no, you can't do that. You can't just take the land. And they're like, but that's what you did to us. You just took it. I really believe, and maybe I'm wrong, that this movie was more into it about like showing us who we really are a little bit, because he made me think about the slave ships, which made me think about the fringes in the beginning and the end of the movie. And then also even the land in Africa right now, how they're taking their land back by force and they're not giving compensation to the white farmers. It made me feel like, okay, these people are really like throwing it in our face like, yeah, this is what's going on. To me, I mean, I don't know. And that's why I wanted to kind of get your feedback. Do you think that this is what's going on, or am I just seeing things, you know?
Like I said, there are no wrong views tonight. You follow what I'm saying? Like, only thing that could be wrong in this particular situation is if somebody like misquote something in the movie or thought somebody said something they didn't say. But as far as your views and opinion of what was accurately said, then that's what you got out of the movie. And this type of movie is meant to incite various viewpoints and opinions. Yeah, I peeped the little fork. When I first saw it, I couldn't tell because as it zooms in, if you go back and watch the movie, because I've seen it twice, as it zooms in, it gets off of it before it gets all the way up on him. But the way he's wearing his shirt under that, it's definitely got like the little cut on the side that you will see a lot of black Hebrews wearing today. Another interesting fact, too, if you look at the Wakandan language, if you notice the movie, every time it shows the location, it writes it in Wakandan first. Then it translates it into English. If you look at the way those letters are written, they look very similar to ancient Paleo Hebrew. But that's just something I want to bring out.
All right, once again, family, title of this show, T'Challa versus Eric Killmonger. Who was right? Who had the truth? This is a movie review. That number to call in is 319-527-6239. By the way, just letting you know, Ron Devon Prospect is here. Say hello, Ron.
Hey, shalom.
Hey, what's going on, man? I mean, I know you just joined in. We appreciate you. I know you're a busy brother, but I'm glad that you're here. Let us know what you thought about the movie, man. The T'Challa versus Eric Killmonger. Who was right from your perspective? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll just be brief on that, and I'll probably jump back in a few. But I watched the movie. I thought the movie was very insightful. I think there was a lot of subliminals that was conveyed by the film that I think most people who are going for entertainment purposes will probably overlook, or they're probably not aware of a lot of the deeper rooted messages that was being conveyed. In regards to my perspective on who was right per se, it's very hard to say objectively who was right. Subjectively speaking, I mean, both T'Challa and Killmonger both had great reasons for why they acted the way they did. But the most important thing that people have to keep in mind is thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, right? So the thesis was being protected by T'Challa and his obligation as a Black Panther to protect his people, to protect Wakanda. And then you had the antithesis, which was Killmonger, whose objective was to free oppressed people who do not have a kingdom of their own, who do not have advanced technology of their own, who are being oppressed, while, no other more advanced African nations are doing anything to protect them. And what we will see is that, the director, in regards to putting together the plot, actually pushed together the thesis and antithesis, and through the frustration of the two, produced the synthesis. So the synthesis of that was being that T'Challa felt that it was his obligation to keep Wakanda isolated, to keep them protected, and prevent them from being exploited by the other corrupt nations around them. They decided, hey, we're going to do a stepping out party. We're going to actually offer our services to the world, and they would have to come to us for resources and so forth like that. But he also set up a research center in Oakland, which also goes to show that he wanted to provide a degree of education to the oppressed people, so that way they will no longer have to stay oppressed. And the reason why that happened is because the antithesis, which was Killmonger, actually, his points were valid. The way he was going about accomplishing it was something that was deemed to be, I would say, unrighteous by T'Challa and the rest of the Wakandians. But the point that there were other people who, other people of color who were behind enemy lines being oppressed, that they needed some way to fight back. T'Challa believed that the best way to do so is through research and education. In doing so, these people can rise above their oppression and, actually get a glimpse of the world in which they didn't have to stay oppressed that Killmonger had envisioned and what he was trying to convey over to the Wakandians. So I think the film was a great film in regards to all the messages that it left in the minds of the audience who viewed it. And I think that this will continue to be a film that will be discussed in years to come because it set a milestone where it actually touched on realistic current issues that's being faced by people of color today. It wasn't really any issues that was fully centered on the comic. It just had themes from the comic series, which I'm very familiar with. But they put it more in a contemporary setting. And in doing so, this is why this one became so captivating because, it allowed people of color to actually see a film that reflects current issues that they have today and to be able to create an icebreaker of discussion amongst ourselves to be more conscious and to figure out, what state are we really in and does this reflect what's going on in regards to Africans in the diaspora and those who are there domestically on the continent of Africa, and what can be done in order to unite against oppression. And that's pretty much what the film was about. That's why when you hear the terms like colonizer being used, because they understood about oppression, imperialism, and things of that nature, and they was trying to avoid that from happening to Wakanda, hence why they stay isolated. So then that's a question for us. Should we stay segregated? Should we be integrated? Should we be aggregationalists? Should we be Pan-Africanists? All those in the diaspora of color, should we connect with them and cross-exchange resources so we can rise above the oppression that we are all facing globally? And some may call it under the auspices of white supremacy. African nations, should they now start expunging any kind of individuals that live amongst them who will be deemed to be potential oppressors or people who are benefiting off of their struggle. And in doing so, isolate themselves so that way they can keep all the resources, whether it's land, whether it's technology, whether it's goods, to themselves, and not export it to other nations who are only looking to exploit them, and do it at, putting them at a disadvantage. So it brings a lot of these things up. I mean, me personally, as a Pan-Africanist as well, that all of those of us who are scattered in diaspora, that we have an obligation to one another to ensure that whatever resources that we have, technology, education, whatever, that we should share it amongst each other, so that way none of our brothers and sisters are oppressed. Because if one group is oppressed, that reflects us, then all of us are oppressed. And until we all rise up together to fight the oppression on behalf of our brothers and sisters, then we will never be able to have any degree of success or advancement as a people here on this planet, no matter how long time period or duration that we have while we're here. I believe that when T'Challa went to the UN at the end, I think he made a grave mistake, because people who are not entrenched in the cultural values of Wakanda will use the technology for their own greedy purposes and not really care about the effects that they leave behind as a result of their mindless imperialistic consumption of resources and technology. So I felt that he should not have done that, but he did, and that was done as a tie-in to the Avengers film. But one last thing I'll say, which was really kind of interesting, was that when T'Challa made a speech at the UN, and he said, hey, we're willing to open up our doors, and we're willing to offer this and offer that, and then we see the camera change to one of the member states of the UN, and they say, well, what can a nation of farmers and pastoralists, what can they offer us? And pretty much what that's saying is that these nations that are first world nations in power, any African nation, they do not view them as being able to contribute anything to the rest of the global community. And that was a subliminal shot to people of color that say, hey, look, no matter how advanced you may think you are, how much education you may think you are, how much you're willing to share, you will never be able to contribute to the global economy or even the global politics in a way in which you would be superior, because you are an oppressed people. And we don't see anything that you can contribute to be something that is hugely beneficial to us as a global community. And that's pretty much, what's being conveyed in the minds of those nations who, are not represented by people that look like us. And from their mindset, they don't see people of color, ever really contributing something that's going to be a catalyst for ultimate change in global society. And that's mainly because the frequency in which we operate mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, etc., is much different than those elitists who are in power today. And that's pretty much my gist on the movie in a nutshell. Saying some details, but, that's just my part of the contribution to this discussion.
Okay. Anybody from the panel want to address anything that was said, or piggyback off of that? Go ahead.
I think he caught up. I think he caught up well. Peace to you, brother Divine. It's a pleasure to be on the panel with you, bro. I've been checking you out for a while, man. My name is Brother Zadok Ben Israel. Peace to you, family.
Peace to you as well.
Peace to you, Brother Divine.
Peace to you, Zadok. I'm a fan of your music, and I have been for years now. And I've never had the chance to formally meet you, but it's also a pleasure to be able to grace this conversation with you as well, my brother. And peace to the other brother that said what's up as well. I'm not sure who was the other brother that said what's up.
Brother Robert.
Oh, shalom to you as well, my brother.
Yeah, we also have Brother Josh here as well.
Shalom,
peace,
Mr. Weed.
Mr.
I'm sorry, Mr. Prospect, Divine Prospect. How you doing? I'm still got Mr. Breedy on the brain. Divine Prospect, I'm sorry. How you doing?
So good, Josh. It's so good. How you doing, bro?
I'm blessed, brother. Good. Good to finally be on the panel with you too.
Awesome. Yeah, I was listening to some of it before I got on, and I see that everybody gave some great insight. And these are the type of conversations that once a movie like this, of this magnitude, I mean, this movie is almost at 1.5 billion worldwide. A film of this magnitude to start these type of conversations, which would lead us even into the realm of spirituality, which eventually we should have that discussion more so within our community, is something that we should emulate with the resources that we have ourselves. So this way we can really drive the narrative and really show people that the most important thing is the spiritual essence of what greater message should be conveyed as opposed to just a carnal one. So it should inspire us who are independent artists or teachers or leaders to say, hey, look, let's pull together our resources and let's create a film similar to this, but have it reflect what the ultimate goal is in which the audience should be seeking after. Not just leaving a conversation on a secular realm, but how is it affecting us spiritually?
All right, so Josh, I know you want to bring some stuff out that that needs to come out in regards to this movie, but let's get. I think we have two more callers standing by. Let's get these callers, and then after that, I'm gonna go to you, Josh, and see what you wanted to bring out. Let's go to 202-553. You're live there.
Peace, peace, peace. This is Brother Moses, Brother Moshe, Brother Elijah, whichever folks call me. Peace to all of the panelists. And Josh, I got something to tell you, man. I just wanted to say I love you. That's a little inside joke. Just a few thoughts on the movie and the difference between T'Challa and Killmonger. One I'd like to say is that these are like the perfect dichotomies between two people, right? So one who had this built-up animosity, another, which I think is overlooked in the movie, or maybe people commented on it in other circles or this circle, is the situation T'Challa found himself in, right? He didn't plan on ascending to the throne that quick. And when you ascend to a position of power or a position of responsibility, often what you face with is governance and then dealing with a situational analysis, right? So people work in organizational development, business, et cetera, they do a SWOT analysis. So where everybody is saying, hey, go help resources, do this, do that, like you really have to assess what are the dangers of doing that? What are the strengths? What are the opportunities? What are the weaknesses? I just came to this position like a week ago. The whole movie seemed to have played out in a matter of like 45 days, right? So I just got, my dad died. I'm in a position of power today. Now, what do I do moving forward? And I don't want to jump the gun too quick. I don't want to move too slow. And I just think at one point that I'm making is, I think the interesting scenario that T'Challa found himself is in as a new governor. Who do I listen to, and how do I be able to placate the members of community, the elders, as well as kind of form my own thoughts? So I think that that's one point that I wanted to make. Second is I think people view solutions, and history shows this, through the lens of their oppressors. So in the back end of the movie, Killmonger was like, listen, we about to get arms, we about to go use the vibranium, we about to kill all of the oppressors and take over because we're so powerful. And I think that this is really, really, really interesting. T'Challa said, you know what? Community center. Like, that's your solution, bro? That's what you came up with? You can heal bullet wounds and you want to build a community center in Oakland? Like, for real? So I think it's interesting that even just, and again, they may have got into other solutions because they met with the UN, et cetera, but this is your solution? But Killmonger was saying, no, we about to take over the globe and we about to be in power. And I think that's something that Brother Josh brought out earlier as far as Proverbs maybe 3:31, envy not your oppressor and choose none of his ways. Because Killmonger was also saying, well, because this is how we were treated, we're going to treat them like that and overthrow, right? So that has its own challenges with it. Third point, and I got one more maybe, and I think I'll be brief. Liberation for T'Challa, it seemed like, and then it was contentment, or liberation for Killmonger was contentment for T'Challa. And I think, again, part of that lens was he had just came into power. Like, first time you dribble a basketball, first time you drive a car, it's going to be some nuances in it, and you have to be able to gather your strength and go through scenarios to be able to determine how well of a leader you're going to be. Last thing I wanted to express is groups, and this is more an issue with T'Challa, if you would, but this happens in religious groups. And I remember talking to somebody who is a leader in a congregation who broke off from Chicago, one of Chicago's groups, and I was talking to them about, this was probably like 7 or 8 years ago, about, helping feed the poor and doing this, and nah, man, we got to teach the word, the Bible, man, we got to, break out the word, which is applicable, right? Now they get to hear the spiritual word before anything else. And sometimes groups, and this is in the Israelite community, but in a wider spectrum, groups don't tend to leverage the values and opinions of members of their group, and those members decide to say, you know what, I'm about to go out and get my own outcomes because I don't subscribe to what you are saying we should do. So the young lady that was T'Challa's girlfriend or whoever else was in Mogadishu or Nigeria liberating women who have been kidnapped or something like that. Because, look, y'all not doing it, right? I'm not going to sit and wait on y'all to do something that I think is in my heart. And I think that that's interesting to say. So those are my few comments, and I'll pause there.
All right. Let's go to the panel. Zadok, you want to say anything? Okay.
Yeah, peace, my brother. Peace, my dear brother Moses. He's the father of the young lady who called some time ago. Shabbat shalom to you, bro. Yeah, I think that those dynamics are definitely something to keep in mind. As we brought out earlier, Josh brought it out, and I followed him up, and it was true. T'Challa basically was in a situation of, he wanted to be like his father. He considered his father a righteous man. He didn't know at the time what his father did to his uncle, but even besides that, he felt his father was a righteous man and had kept intact in his generation one of the most powerful empires on the earth. And one thing about it is that I liked about T'Challa was the fact that, it's almost like Christ, where people looked at him as soft, as Josh pointed out, oh, you ain't going to get violent, you ain't going to go do this, that, and the oppressor. Well, it may not be the time. And one reason why many in Israel rejected Yeshua of Nazareth as being the Messiah is because once he went up on that cross, as we like to say, they felt he lost. Like, they didn't believe he was going to resurrect from the dead. I'm pretty sure the disciples had a hard time understanding that point of it. So the common people, for those who weren't really his followers, but they knew he had some power, once he went up on that cross, man, and they know he got put in that tomb, it was like, he lost. But it was something that, Yeshua, Satan always try to get you to show your power right away. Man, prove who you are. Go show the world who you are. You know what I'm saying? Take that stone, turn it to bread. Man, jump off the top of this building. And Christ could have did everything that Satan offered him in the effigy of what I think that story means. But the whole thing about power is you don't have to prove it to yourself nor do it in front of men. And I think that was definitely a great dynamic he had to learn, and he had to consider things. And I thought he started considering right away, because when she did say to him, we got enough power to help people, and we need to open up our borders. Like I said, in the next scene when he went to go visit his man who had the rhinos, that's the first thing he brought up. Like, she was saying this. What do you think about that? To get his perspective. So that was interesting. And there's one more thing about the people that was very analogous to Israel. Israel is a people who in the days of Nehemiah, because of their fear of going against their power, which was God, Nehemiah and Ezra and them didn't want the people to fall back into apostasy. So I think they went overboard in separating themselves from any nations, period. It was one thing, they had already had children with women, and they basically bastardized them children by going into covenant with Nehemiah and them, and they abandoned the children that they birthed. It wasn't kids born and they was going to build, they stop talking to the women before you get them pregnant. No, they already got these kids. And because Nehemiah and them seen danger in the kids learning too much of the mother's ways already, they abandoned a whole bunch of sons. That was interesting. And in the days of Peter and them, when Peter came up to Cornelius and them in Acts chapter 10, he said, you know how it's unlawful for a Jew to keep company and eat with one of another nation. That wasn't in Yahweh. That's not in Torah. That was from the tradition of the elders, which basically Christ had to come and tear down. So while Israel separated themselves and trying to protect what they had, which they believe was their access to God and trying to stay right and pure with him, in the end, Christ was sent and shown that the oracles that you've been given, which is your biggest advantage over the nations, that is power. And if you do it right, this is what the Lord is going to use to free all the nations. The power you have that causes you to look at all the nation as heathen and dogs. You're going to take this and you're going to share it with the nations. And if they repent before Yah, then equity and justice shall eventually fill the whole earth, just as the technology that they had kept hitting to themselves all of them years would be something that hopefully would bring peace to the earth. So that those dynamics were awesome. And, of course, there's much more. But, yeah, I'll stop there.
All right, let's go to Robert Reed real quick, and then Brother Josh, and then Ron Devon Prospect. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay. Is there a statement, a question that you can restate, because I don't want to be off topic?
Oh, peace, Brother Zadok, my beloved brother. You know, I've been traveling for a little bit, but good analysis and breakdown there. Yeah, I think one of the major things, or two of the major things I was saying is groups who, like, in terms of like Hebrews, but groups on a larger scale. Some businesses are created because people reject, or organizations are created because people reject the voice of somebody's in the group, right? So you have people in the group saying, look, we need to spread around. We need to go help other people. But then you have leadership saying, nah, we ain't doing all that. We've got to stick to doing A, B, and C. And how that dichotomy between T'Challa and Killmonger presented itself in a group not leveraging, meaning T'Challa taking that leadership position, not leveraging, listening to other people until he was faced with. And I think the other thing that I was kind of questioning around was like the solutions through the lens of the oppressor. Now, maybe it's an expression of thought, but what do people think about at the end of the road? At least the first thing they did was like, oh, let's buy a building and set up a community center versus we're liberating Africa, like Killmonger was saying, or all of our people across the world.
Yeah, you know what? I get what you're saying, and just to tackle that, the last part that you had said, I think, excuse me, Brother Josh pretty much said it when he was saying that they, like him opening up, community center and stuff, and that could just be kind of seen as, talk. That could be, by some people. I'm not saying necessarily by me. I'm just saying that some people would say, well, and like you said, you're like, okay, that's it. And that's why a lot of people would lean towards more Killmonger's position, because he's ready to do things, radically different and take extreme measures. And then take, for instance, I forgot the character's name, the one with, the rhinos and stuff like that. Yeah, Wakabi. When you think about it, Killmonger said something totally different than what Wakabi was hearing from T'Challa in what tradition was taught. And so when Killmonger comes along and says, well, you know what, this is what I'm going to do, obviously, when he met him with the body of Claw, and all that, we didn't get to hear a long exchange or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that we saw Wakabi side with Killmonger when it came down to it. He went through the tradition of, of ritual combat to become king and all that. Wakabi, that was it. And he pretty much agreed. So his loyalty was to Killmonger, but I don't think it's because he just liked Killmonger so much. I think it was just that he liked his methods and he liked the direction he brought into Killmonger's vision. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna sign up for what Killmonger is selling right here. I don't like, what we're getting right now from what we get, traditionally anyway. And then going back to what you're saying, I mean, the dichotomy between the two, I mean, it was almost like a yin and yang type thing. You know, it just really was. They just had two different perspectives, and I think we all kind of laid out the differences. You know, one, you know, growing up, you know, in America, you know, abandoned, father murdered, so he's growing up fatherless, you know, and probably had some hard times and then going to the military, so on and so forth, while the other one grew up in the palace, you know, prince all his life, silver spoon, servants, guards, you know, high-tech society, you know. So there's certainly a difference there. They certainly both had different worldviews, and so I think that's definitely going to bring about what we've been talking about, you know, as far as solutions to whatever the current plight is. I think that's going to bring about some radically different solutions coming, especially from those two, you know. So, I definitely see what you're saying there on that front. But I'll let someone else get in on that.
All right, Brother Josh.
Appreciate that, Sal. I could go into a lot of stuff that they were talking about. You know, I want to get to this other caller so I can bring out what I want to get out so we can kind of get back on. My stuff a little bit off topic, you know, and I kind of want to get to this other caller. I really like to hear from the people the most before I get back on this. So we just go to the other caller if it's okay with the rest of the panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the. We have one more caller standing by right now. Yeah, so let's go to 404-921. You're live.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Shabbat shalom.
Good.
Indeed. This is Naj in Atlanta. I didn't even know about you brothers' faith when I called in the show. I was calling in for the topic, but, man, really, really brilliant minds, interesting points. And it kind of pushed me to a lot of different points. I want to kind of, you know, jump in if you guys don't mind.
Please.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The first things first, I would say, as we look at these two characters, let's step outside of the movie for a second and look at any movie, especially with black people, to where there's a version of a radical person in it, and look how that character is written. If you go to Selma, look how the King group is written, and then look how Snick is written. They seem like they're unmoved, seem like they're uncooperative, seem like they don't have good ideas, and they're the group to be discarded. You go to the Butler, where when the child turns to the Panthers, all of a sudden it's a version of the Panthers that is irrational, somewhat crazy, something to be looked down upon. And I think with Killmonger, the problem was his ideology would be so enticing to people that they had to overstep or just overwrite how vicious he had to be, because they had to put in a way of you not liking him. As brilliant as Ryan Coogler was, could he finish this film if he gave us a full-fledged revolutionary as a character that people could look at and say, I side with him? So I would say just notice the flaws of revolutionary characters in black movies, because that is the idea that has to be discarded. And I think that's really apparent with Killmonger. His idea of, people are oppressed. I've lived in the world. I'm of this world. I know what's going on. I've got the answer. Now, of course, he didn't appear to have the ability to lead, so that would become a problem. But with T'Challa, as somebody else brought up earlier, since he didn't get that direct line of passing the torch and everything was abrupt, he didn't finish his teaching. So as the brother before just said, he's opening up community centers in nations with oppressed people. What is that? That's a declaration of war. You open up a community center with high-tech weapons and all these other different things in the U.S. from another nation, that's a Jordana. He didn't go through statecraft. So he's limited to a degree. When he fights Killmonger the first time, he gives Killmonger a pass at first and tells him to submit, not understanding that this man that you're fighting is uncompromising and only there to kill you. There is no giving him a pass. So, and then I think we all kind of skip over like some of these things with T'Challa, where it's like, okay, this makes no sense. You've got a CIA guy not only ingrained within your society now, but you're showing him your weaponry, showing him what you have, which is an odd thing to pair with, especially looking around at the rest of the continent and the bodies that they've left behind over the decades. Let's see. Oh, the sister that brought up Killmonger's statement about the people who decided to jump because it'd be better than jump to the sea, be better than bondage. Now, they say the shark progression in the Atlantic was changed by the amount of bodies that were, had jumped over or thrown over, decided to end their lives instead of being in bondage. But people got to remember, the people who endured and went through all of that, that means your genealogy continues. That means you're still here on Earth. There are people who fought down to the last man, woman, and child when they were invaded, and those people no longer exist. So to present it as this is a brave stance and the other stance is a servile stance, I think, that becomes a kind of poking your chest out, but not really, a good strategy long term. But really good movie. Really like the way that people are looking at these characters and being able to see just, how rich and deep some of this writing was in this, not to mention the visuals. But I think most people looked at Killmonger and said, I might not like some of these other things, but the idea of the oppressed fighting back is something that people are always going to grab onto. So I think that's why so many sided with him. And with T'Challa, it's really hard to look at it and say, okay, he's the hero, but there's so many questions there on the back end of it. But I enjoyed the conversation, man. I've listened to the whole show. Salute to y'all for doing it, and respect.
All right, man. We appreciate your call. And we're going to go back later on to the people and get some more of your questions, your comments. And we have a lot of people on the phone lines. I see you guys. And we also have a lot of people on social media making comments, sharing the show. We appreciate the family out there that support Debate Talk for You in this movie review. By the way, just to let y'all know, the ladies did their movie review as well. It's called Wakanda Forever. If you go to the YouTube page, Debate Talk for You, or iTunes to the podcast section, you can check that out, get the female version of what they thought about the movie. Go check it out in the archives. Brother Josh, go ahead and bring it out, brother. Some of the things that you wanted to, bring out in regards to the movie. Go ahead.
I appreciate that, Sal, and appreciate that last caller, man. It's always good to hear fresh insight from the Debate Talk for You audience, because at the end of the day, they would make the show, not the guests on the panel, but the audience. But yeah, y'all know, Brother Josh ain't just gonna come on here and just review a movie. I got to drop some info on y'all, because even though and that's why at the beginning of the show when Sal asked me what I rate the show, I told him from an entertainment perspective, plot, storytelling, solid 10. I think Zadok called it a dime. But there is a hidden agenda of Satan in this movie, sisters and brothers. I just got to let y'all know that. I know a lot of y'all didn't expect to hear this, but I got to drop that out. I'm absolute Bible truth first, meaning you're going to get some Bible out of this, right? First of all, let me break something down to y'all. Everybody, mostly black people, were real into this movie. We felt like we all finally got a hero we can get behind, call out on, and emulate. But y'all got to understand that the Black Panther is a Hollywood movie, and Hollywood's ultimate goal is to try to get us to deny the God of this Bible, deny his son, and worship Satan. And Satan don't care how he has to go about doing it to get you to do it. And I think that this is one of the biggest deceptions of Satan as far as on the black race. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, a lot of people don't really break this down, but the whole origin of the Black Panther's power, what makes him the Black Panther, is a pagan Egyptian deity. If you watch the movie, you would know they would say stuff like, glory to Bast. They said that in the beginning when T'Challa's father, T'Chaka, showed up and confronted his brother for betraying Wakanda. When he first showed up, he was like, glory to Bast. And later on in the movie, T'Challa himself said that, glory to Bast. And I don't hear anybody talking about that or asking, who is Bast? Because we usually say over here, glory to God. Or we'll say glory to Yah or hallelujah. That's what we say. But in the movie, he's saying glory to Bast. And a lot of people don't understand that the Black Panther hero is actually Bast incarnated. Well, who is Bast? I'm glad you asked. We're going to go to the Routledge Dictionary of Egyptian gods and goddesses. And see, when I be watching movies, I don't just watch for entertainment. I watch to catch the subliminals. Because when this movie came out, you had men and women and children, in addition to wearing dashikis. They were going to the movie wearing Black Panther shirts. They were basically idolizing the Black Panther hero. But in the beginning of the movie of Black Panther, when he gives the origin story, he said there were 5 nations, and then a vibranium meteorite came to the earth, and then this Black Panther god named Bast visited this one guy and infused him with the power of the Black Panther by eating the heart-shaped herb. So Black Panther, make no mistake about it, and you can look this up in the movie and in the comic books, his powers come from the god Bast. Also, let me spell it out for y'all too, so y'all can look it up. It's B-A-S-T. Again, it's B-A-S-T. It is also spelled and pronounced Bastet. B-A-S-T-E-T. B-A-S-T-E-T. Google this after you hear me say it and call back in and confirm Brother Josh is telling the truth. So we're at the Routledge Dictionary of Egyptian Gods and Goddesses, and this is what it says on the Bastet, or Bast. It says, feline goddess, daughter of the sun god. And the sun god in Egyptian mythology was Re, or Ra. So the Black Panther gets his power from the daughter of Ra. So he's a pagan goddess incarnate. But look what it says about her. It says her earlier iconography employs lion imagery, and it is not until circa 1000 BC that the representation of Bastet as the cat becomes common. Cat. What is the Panther, sisters and brothers? A cat. That's why I say she's the feline goddess. This is the trick of Satan to try to dupe us into idolizing and glorifying a pagan deity. And in the movie, they're saying, glory to Bast, glory to Bast. That's what they're saying. Like we say, glory to God. But what did God say? I am the Lord, and there is none else, and my glory will I not give to another. Well, that's exactly what Black Panther was doing, giving his glory to another. I know a lot of people might not appreciate this because they just want to enjoy the movie, but we're supposed to be Christians. We're supposed to be Torah observant. So you can't be walking around with no Black Panther T-shirt on, come out your Torah observant, because guess what? That is an image of Bastet, a pagan god. That's why I'm not buying no Black Panther paraphernalia. Can't do it, because I know who he comes from, who he represents. But look what else it says. It says, no real ideal of her nature is contained in the writing of her name, which is rendered phonetically, employing the hieroglyph of a sealed alabaster perfume jar, possibly chosen to suggest the ritual purity involved in her cult. Look what it says here. As the daughter of Ra, she is associated with rage, inherent in the sun god's eye. To my fellow panelists who are listening, which character seemed to illustrate rage? Y'all can answer that. Which, T'Challa or Killmonger? Anybody? Is y'all still listening?
No, it's Killmonger. I was muted because I was muted, but yeah, Killmonger.
Yep.
Right.
Rage.
Yep, the monger.
And see, right. And see, people don't understand. And when Killmonger became, because you know, at a point in the movie, he got the power of the Black Panther. A lot of people are getting behind Killmonger, and they don't understand that Killmonger was actually the more accurate representation of Bast or Bastet. It said, let me read that again, so y'all make sure y'all won't miss it. As the daughter of Ra, she is associated with the rage inherent in the sun god's eye, his instrument of vengeance. What did Killmonger want, y'all? What did he want? Anybody?
He wanted vengeance.
He wanted vengeance.
Retribution. He wanted vengeance. Yep.
And even though Black Panther himself is an image of this pagan god, you notice that our people are even more supportive of Killmonger, and he's the even more accurate representation of Bast, or the incarnation of Bast, or Bastet. Y'all see the little subliminals right there? Satan is getting you to get behind him very smooth. See, I've been watching this stuff, but look what else it says. It said it was probably this ferocity that made the analogy so plausible between Bastet and the lioness. Her development into the cat goddess par excellence of the late period of Egyptian civilization retains the link with the sun god. So if you're behind Black Panther, you're behind the sun god Ra or Ray, because Ba is the daughter of Ray. But let's see what else it says about her. It says the cat of Ray decapitating the underworld snake Apophis. But in some ways, soft and the vicious side of her nature, right? So she has a soft side of her nature. T'Challa, y'all. You follow what I'm saying? She becomes a peaceful creature, destroying only vermin, and unlike her leonine form, she can be approached fearlessly and stroked. So they're telling you there's a soft side to this Bast. Remember, both Killmonger and T'Challa were the Black Panther, but there was a softer version and there was a ferocious version. Y'all think Hollywood don't know this stuff? This is not coincidental. This is lining up perfectly with these characters. Both of these characters personified two different aspects of the pagan goddess Bast. She was a feline goddess, being a cat goddess. But look what else it says. It has been suggested that in one myth, the Egyptians saw Bastet's return from Nubia, where she had been sent by Ra as a lioness and had raged in isolation to Egypt in the form of a more placid cat as an explanation of the period of unapproachability in the cycle of menstruation. They use that to symbolize how women were not to be touched during menstruation cycles. But what this is saying is there was a point where Bast was exiled from Egypt or killed. In other words, kicked out and separated from the whole land. That was Killmonger. Remember? He was never took back to Wakanda. Right? That's that other side of Bast. Hollywood be telling you this stuff. I be reading this stuff and I be catching it. Right? But look what else it says. As tangible evidence, this theory cites the scenes in New Kingdom tomb paintings and Thebes where a cat is depicted under the lady's chair as a deliberate ploy to indicate that she will always be available for sexual intercourse with the tomb owner in the afterlife. So Bast was associated with sexual intercourse in the afterlife. And as you notice in the Black Panther, they made a lot of associations to him going to the afterlife. But let me go ahead and wrap this up. And I got something else I want to point out too. It's that in her earliest appearances in the Pyramid era, Bastet is a goddess closely linked to the king. What was Black Panther all about, y'all? Killmonger and T'Challa, what were they fighting over to be? The king, closely related to the king. Yep, King of Wakanda. This is not a coincidence. This is the propaganda. And our people have fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker. No matter which one of these guys you support, T'Challa or Eric Killmonger, you are worshiping or glorifying an aspect or concept of Bastet because she had two sides to her. She had a soft side and a ferocious side. T'Challa was the soft side. Killmonger was the ferocious side. And we don't took it, and we're looking at Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. No, y'all, you ain't got nothing to do with them. This is the two different personalities of the god Bast, which the movie plainly tells you who Black Panther got his power from. But look what else it says, right? It says, a magnificent example of precise engineering in the Old Kingdom, namely the Valley Temple of King Khafra at Giza, carries on its facade the names of two goddesses only, Hathor of southern Egypt and Bastet of northern Egypt. The goddess is invoked as a benign royal protectress in the pyramid text, where in a spell to enable him to reach the sky, the king proclaims that his mother and nurse is Bastet. So the king of Egypt, the pharaoh, will proclaim that his mother and his nurse is Bastet, meaning the king is saying that Bastet is the origin of him, or this is who he comes from. The king is saying this. Wasn't the whole thing about whoever was the Black Panther was also the king? That's what it was. You didn't have the Black Panther without the king. They were synonymous. And the first Black Panther got his power from the god Ba. Let me finish. It says, besides the king, Bastet had a son in the form of the lion-headed god Mihos, and is also the mother of a more artificial offspring, combining the natures of Nefertum and the child Horus, personifying her connection with perfume and royalty. So Ba was connected to perfume and royalty, but we're dealing with the royalty part. It said, with the dramatic extension of the roles of deity to the 5th Egyptian courtiers, as well as the pharaoh that we find in the context of the Middle Kingdom, Bastet gives immense protection as firstborn daughter of Autumn. If you go back and watch Captain America Civil War, where the Black Panther first debuted it, he tells you that the Black Panther is a mantra, and it was a protector of Wakanda. He tells you that. You mean to tell me y'all don't think that Hollywood writers did the research on this paganism and put all of this on the Black Panther, and you go back and you read this stuff in Egyptology, and it lines up perfectly. But Satan rules Hollywood. Y'all know that. So all of our people yell Black Panther, yell T'Challa, yell Killmonger. You're going and you're buying the paraphernalia. You're wearing the T-shirts and stuff. You got Christians, Hebrew Israelites wearing this stuff. I ain't trying to burst nobody's bubble. But I'm just letting y'all know all this stuff is pagan. And it's of the devil. I'm going to give y'all the bad side too. Right? But then let me finish this. It says the aggressive side of Bastet can be seen in historical texts describing the pharaoh in battle. For example, Dynasty, 10, 15, 18, Amenhotep II enemies are slaughtered like the victims of Bastet along the road cut by the god Amun. From her epithet, Lady of Asheru, the precinct of the goddess Mut or Mute at Karnak, it is clear that Bastet had a place on Theban soil where she could be equated with the consort of Amun, meaning she was considered to be like the wife or the woman of the god Amun, especially since the lioness and the cat were also claimed as sacred animals by Mut. So, sisters and brothers, and there's more, but I'm not going to get into that because, like the sister who called in and said something about my Eli documentary, people have been asking me to do one on Black Panther. And, you know, if I get a chance to do it, I'll do one on that too. But I just want to show y'all this. Now, this is what else I want to bring to y'all attention. If you go to YouTube, right, and you can type this in, it's called Black Panther movie clip, Killmonger challenges T'Challa. And the one I'm looking at is on several YouTube channels, but you can go to comicbook.com. Look for the guy who uploaded it under that name, comicbook.com. If you fast forward 1 minute into the video, it says the following words. Let me get here for y'all. It says, I'm going to mute it because I don't want it to be coming here loud. I'm just going to read it as it pops up. I'm going to fast forward 1 minute, and y'all can follow along with me so y'all can know I'm telling the truth. You fast forward 1 minute into the video. Let me get here. I may say went to the next video after that. Y'all know how it does. Now, here we go. 1 minute in, it says, the kingdom has come. Zadok, or Mr. Reed, or Divine Prospect, why do you read about the kingdom coming in the scriptures? What do we call that? What prayer is that?
The Lord's Prayer.
That's the Lord's Prayer. So somebody tell me why in a movie about the Black Panther that is based on paganism are they describing Wakanda, the fictitious city of Wakanda? Why are they saying the kingdom has come and it's showing T'Challa as the Black Panther? Because what they're trying to do is give us a substitute pagan representation of Jesus Christ that Satan has given us. Otherwise, what does that have to do? It's all about Africa and all that. Why are they saying in the trailer, the kingdom has come? Everybody who's a Christian knows when we talking about thy kingdom come, that's Matthew chapter 6, our Father which art in heaven, and so on and so forth. So why are they saying when you show visions of Wakanda and the Black Panther, the kingdom has come? Because this is Hollywood telling you this is the Messiah we're giving you. And we've all fallen for it because look how many black people got caught up in this movie. Look how many black people wearing the Black Panther shirts and the dashikis and getting behind Killmonger, which is the ferocious side of Bastet, while T'Challa is the docile, more approachable side. You follow what I'm saying? But I want to drop this on y'all. Now let me go to a little scripture because in the movie, y'all notice that a constant theme, and I ain't going to be too long because I want to hear from the people, a constant theme was when they gave each other dap, they would immediately cross their arms. Y'all notice that? Like when he did it with his sister named Shuri, when he first went to the lab to check out her new tech she had for him, they clapped and they crossed their arms, right? Did y'all know that the crossing of the arms is a typical body gesture of the Egyptians? If you look at these tombs, y'all know that the pharaohs, they have their hands crossed. They got an ankh in one hand sometimes and a flail in the other. Why do you think even at the beginning of the movie when the first Black Panther first got his power, he crossed his arms? They're showing you the Egyptian origins of this person. And they kept saying, glory to Boss. Why are we getting behind a hero that's saying glory to Boss? But another thing in the movie was that the constant communicating with the dead. This is Deuteronomy 18. That was what to call his character, Forrest Whitaker. He was the priest, right? Remember they put him under the dirt and they buried him, and he was in a state between death and life. But this is Deuteronomy 18, 10 and 11. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, which is some kind of magic or sorcery, or an observer of times, psychics, or an enchanter, or a witch. And that's what Forrest Whitaker was. He was a witch doctor. But look what else it says, verse 11. Or a charmer, or a consultant with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. That's somebody who communicates with the dead. Black Panther did that twice in the movie. So did Killmonger. When they put him under, Killmonger to talk to his dad. Black Panther went to the astral plane. This stuff is pagan, sisters and brothers. This is Satan trying to trick us into glorifying pagan gods. That's what he's trying to do. So I'm just going to leave it there. I just wanted to give y'all something to think about because it's a lot more than I thought. But the last thing I'm going to leave y'all with is this. If y'all notice, spoiler alert, when Black Panther came close to dying after Killmonger threw him over the waterfall, right? That's when he went to the astral plane again, rebuked his father and the ancestors, and he came back. If you go back and watch that scene, look at the first thing he asked for because he was frozen in the snow. First thing he asked for, he said, you got another blanket? That's what he said. Look at how the Black Panther is wearing that blanket over his head. After he comes back from a near-death experience, look how he's wearing that blanket over his head, and go and watch every movie about Jesus Christ that has ever come out, and you will see that he had a full goatee, the Black Panther, and he was wearing that blanket over his head the exact same way Jesus Christ is always depicted, wearing the shawl over his head in the movies. I'm going to leave it at that. I just want to hear from everybody else. I just had to get it off my chest. I don't want y'all to think that Brother Josh don't peep game, because I peep game. But that's it.
All right. I always take Josh to hit us in another perspective with the movie. There we go. What did y'all think about that? What did Josh put out? Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, no, I definitely, after I got the entertainment value out of the movie, because like I said, I grew up, with comics, and it was kind of, just one of the things this is one of the things that I did. But after I got the entertainment value, the cinematography, the writing, the directing, stuff like that, I did notice most of everything that he said, the worshiping the dead, going to the astral plane and stuff like that. And I knew about Bastet, and the Panther God and stuff that they worship. That comes out in the comics as well. So I was definitely aware of some of those things, and there's definitely a lot of subliminals. I mean, Zadok hinted at it. Obviously, Josh just talked about it, and I'm sure there's a lot more. And a couple of callers said the same thing, hey, there's some subliminals there. So I would definitely 100% agree that there's definitely some subliminals in there, and if someone's not careful, and just kind of watching, be circumspect, some things can seep into our consciousness and stuff like that. But one of the things that, being Messianic Hebrew and stuff like that, one of the things, for me, there was a disassociation to a lot of the things there. And what I mean by that is that, how some brothers, they say, okay, there's, obviously there's a difference between, Hamites and Israelites and so on and so forth. And, I'm not, that doesn't matter to me ultimately. But some of the things that I saw in there, I admit, were expected. I kind of expected from a particular culture. Now, I know Wakanda, is a made-up culture. I understand that. But what I'm just saying is that being on the continent of Africa, being, with Egypt, Egypt's right there, on the continent and stuff like that. So a lot of the things that came out in the movie wasn't as big a surprise to me. I'm not saying that, hey, it's no big deal or, it's not pagan. No, I totally agree with Brother Johnson saying that, their practices are definitely pagan, talking to the dead and all that other stuff. Definitely, okay, worshiping a panther god. I mean, come on, you got to be a fool not to know that's not to agree that that's pagan. So I definitely, there's definitely idolatry. There's definitely paganism to the highest order. And obviously, if you are, a person who, believes in the Bible and tries to practice the Bible, whether you're Christian or you're Hebrew Israelite, I mean, you're Messianic or Torah only, you cannot co-sign the practices that were in that Bible. You just can't, because they don't line up with the Bible. So I can definitely see that thread running in the Bible there. I can definitely see that. That's definitely part of it. So I definitely can agree with him that there's a lot of idolatry in there. There's a lot of paganism in there. And I also agree that some of it was in there subtly, while others were just downright overt. So that's my 2 cents on it. That way we can get the rest of the panel. And also check to see if there's any other callers.
Yeah, I know Ron Devon Prosper got to step away for a minute, but I see you're still on the phone line. Are you there? Are you back yet, Ron?
Yes, right, I'm here, but just give me a moment. You can come back to me.
Yeah, I'll come back to you. Let's go to Zadok. There's Zadok. Yeah, Zadok, you there, Zadok?
Yeah, bro. Yep. Can you hear me?
You want to give your input?
Yeah. Man. Leave it up to Josh to take it to the next place. If there was anybody who was about to bring that out, ain't no way you watch his commentary on the Book of Eli or anything else and didn't think none of that was about to pop up. And I'm glad he took it there because, of course, we all liked the cinematic aspects of it. I thought the first Avengers movie was awesome. But let's be honest, Thor is the Hercules of Norse mythology. And his father, Odin, is basically Ra of the Norse. He's Zeus of the Norse. So let's be honest about it. I mean, I didn't know who Bast was, but I knew from the beginning. I definitely seen African tribalism in it. I mean, I forget the name of the particular tribe, but there's a literal tribe that walk around with the big plates in their lip, just like one of the council elders had in his lip when you saw that the council sat there and he sat there with the big green plate in his lip. And so the signs and the symbols that dealt with some of the African animist totem gods, and then even that was a great point about every time they get at Wakanda X, that wasn't in behalf of Bernard Hopkins, the X-Man, you know what I'm saying, the executioner. That wasn't on. They didn't do that for him. It reminded me of certain paintings or glyphs that I've seen where you have the pharaohs who hold the scepter in their hand and their arms crossed like that, sitting on the throne. I forget what it means, but when I first seen it, I was like, yeah, they're the African spirituality, the ancestral plane, dealing with the ancestors and going into an almost inebriated, deep consciousness state to talk to the ancestors. That falls in line with ritual rites among the Native Americans when they taking peyote and this thing supposed to knock you out, and the hallucinations and stuff you see are messages from the gods and all of that. For those of you who know, I run an online group called The Dojo. We have reasoning and debate sessions that we call katas because I'm a martial arts lover. But no matter how much I love martial arts, and I love the idea of trying to be pure in Shaolin, I also understand the philosophy of Siddhartha, who later became known as the Buddha, and searching for enlightenment without the God of heaven. And also, they idolized him after his death, and, the idolatry of the statues and stuff like that. So no matter how much I love the actual the physical aspects of martial arts, I'm not blind to the idea of their shortcoming with their idols. And so the Black Panther would be no less. So it's one thing to enjoy the entertainment aspects of a movie. I liked The Matrix. That's one of the most heavy Bible latent psychedelic metaphysical movies in a minute. Star Wars. Most people know about the Force and the Jedi Knights and all of that, and the dark side. Like, all of this stuff is the play on good and evil. And so mankind will always love a story on the dynamics of the pull between good and evil. But we have to call it for what it is. It is a movie about African spiritualism. I know the sister called in earlier and asked Josh about the fringes. I know it was a Hebrew brother of mine who, after he saw the movie, he was like, yo, man, did dude have on fringes? I mean, he said it like the next day, like, yo, didn't dude have on fringes? I said, if he did, they just basically, whatever the Hebrews could be in black culture was just amalgamated into the rest of the spiritualism. And for most, when they do deal with it, especially coming out of the so-called conscious community, most of them relegate the Hebrew ideology to just another African spirituality. So don't try to make Jesus or Yah or anything like that greater than, quote unquote, what they would see as its predecessors. So if there were fringes expressed in there, to them it would have been just another subliminal of African spirituality, but not, in my opinion, necessarily an ode to Yah. So, yeah, that was good stuff. I'm glad that Josh brought that out. That was some very interesting stuff. But them parts of the movie can't be ignored. And so, wearing kente cloth ain't a sin. Wearing a dashiki ain't a sin. But stop the Wakanda forevers and stop the, I've seen one of my homies, man. He put himself on Facebook. One of my Hebrew brothers who teaches locally in a particular camp. Man, he had on the whole suit, man. The whole joint. I was like, all right. So, yeah, that's all I got to say right now.
Yeah. That man said he had the whole garments on. Okay, I hear that. See, Josh, I got to throw away my Black Panther phone case, man.
Jack got people going in about to burn stuff up in the closet.
Throw it in the garbage now. I didn't mean to do it to you, man. Satan's slick, man. He don't deceive what the Bible says. He don't deceive the whole world. Don't say that, say that. You know what I'm saying? He don't deceive. And I was thinking about that Thor aspect too. And see, we don't understand that when we get behind stuff and we endorse stuff, we don't really take the time. I mean, I peeped because everybody knows on Debate Talk for You that I study Kemet. Everybody knows that. It's no mystery. I don't follow it. I don't promote it. But I study it, and I study it better than those most in the conscious community. And the reason why I say I study better than them, because I'm not saying that I know more than them. When I say I study it better, that means I bring out everything about it. They bring out what they just want you to know. I bring out it all. I do the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when the moment the movie started, because he said it early in the movie, Killmonger's dad, he said, "Glory to Boss." I said, "Wait a minute, that's Boss Dad." I been knew that. I was watching if I had my friend named Terrence, because he had already seen the movie before, and we went together to see it. And I was seeing it for the first time. And the moment he said, "Glory to Boss," I said, "That's the feline, that's the cat goddess, Boss Dad from Kemet." The moment he said that, I said, "Oops, pagan." And then when I saw it in the beginning of the movie, it didn't give the name of the god. It just said the Panther God. So I didn't know if it was some other Panther god because the name was not given. Maybe it did give it. I don't remember. But I didn't really catch it until the guy said, "Glory to Boss." And Black Panther used to say that too. And here's an interesting fact for all of y'all because Zadok brought up the Avengers. And let me show y'all how slick Hollywood is in making black people, even in movies that we think are glorifying us as a people. Hollywood is slick in still making us a bunch of pagan savages and making white America have the truth. If you notice in the Avengers movie, when Captain America and Tony Stark first managed to take Loki captive, and they're driving away on the ship, and they got Scarlet Witch with them, and Loki hears the thunder, and Captain America says, "Hey, what's wrong? You're afraid of a little lightning?" And then Loki said, "I'm not overly fond of what follows," right? Thor comes down, they open up the back of the ship, he takes his hammer, knocks Iron Man out the way real quick, grab Loki, flies off, right? Scarlet Witch says, "Tony, we need a plan of attack." He said, "I got a plan, attack." He flies off after him. Captain America starts getting on this parachute. He's about to jump off after them. Scarlet Witch said, "I would sit this one down, Captain, if I were you. These guys come from legend. They're basically gods." This is what Captain America said. This is white America. There's only one God, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that. Notice Captain America got the truth. There's only one God. But we get to Black Panther, we worshiping pagan gods. See, I be catching little stuff like that. They got Captain America, there's only one God. That means Captain America don't recognize Boss. Because he said there's only one God. You know how the Bible says there's only one God and him only shall thou worship. He don't recognize Boss or any of these other pagan deities. But we get to Black Panther, and we got our people, or the representation of our people, we're worshiping these pagan deities, and we're giving glory to them. But Captain America says there's only one God. So,
hey, Josh,
white of it. Go ahead.
I think you need to retire for the night. You done just did too much right there. You done just did too much to call out you just did too much. How you break down Captain America basically not recognizing Thor and Loki or any of them as gods because there's only one God. So no, they're just powerful creatures, but they're not God. That right there is just too much. You need to go ahead, sit back, sip on some eggnog or something, man, and call it a night, man, because you done did your thing, man. Oh my God, that was lovely.
Praise God. I be catching little slick stuff like that, how they be trying to throw little subliminals out there. You follow what I'm saying? I be catching little stuff like that, and we got to pay attention to little stuff like they were debasing Jesus in the Captain America in the Avengers movie. If you look at Loki, how did Loki invade Earth? The sky opened up, and he came with an army behind him from the sky, right? What does the Bible say in Revelations, right? Jesus going to come from the sky with his army, right? He said, I saw heaven roll back. He's like, I saw heaven open up. That's what that means in, like, apocalyptic language. I saw heaven. In fact, it actually says it plainly in the book of Revelation. I saw heaven open. What did Loki have? Loki had a scepter. We know that Jesus is going to have a scepter. The scepter of thy kingdom is a scepter of righteousness. What did Loki first say to Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson's character? He says, Samuel Jackson first said, we have no quarrel with you. And then Loki says, what quarrel does an ant have with a boot? And then Nick Fury said, you plan to step on us? You go back to the Bible, what does it say Jesus going to do? He goes, the wine press. What is wine press? When you step on grapes. So he was letting you know that the wine press represents God stepping on us the same way you would step on an ant with a boot. right? So what happens with Loki? Loki fails. He gets defeated by who? The Avengers. Who's the first person to take a shot at Loki? Captain America. Who does he represent? Obviously, America. He obviously represents America. What does Hulk do in that funny scene where he grabs Loki? Remember, Loki is at all this stuff trying to be like he's a god. If you go back to that scene I was telling y'all about when they was on the plane with Loki captive, before Thor showed up, do y'all know what Iron Man said to Captain America? He said, "Are you worried about Rock of Ages sitting over there?" He called Loki Rock of Ages. That's a term. That's a title for Jesus Christ. I don't know the Christian song, Rock of Ages. He called Loki that. He said, "What?"
Josh, stop it.
What?
Josh is in that Book of Eli bag, but you are in that Book of Eli bag.
Stop it. Oh, my God. He did call him old Rock of Ages over there. He sure did. Just
he
stop
called him
it.
that. That was a shot at Jesus, dude. That was a shot at Jesus. What they're saying is, yes, somebody's going to come back with a scepter, wanting to conquer us and be our king, because Loki said, "I am a king." And the Avengers is giving the impression that in the end, Earth's mightiest heroes are going to win. Now, what did Hulk say to Loki after he slapped him about 5 times and Loki's on the ground looking crazy? What did he say? Puny God.
Oh, demigod.
Puny God.
That's what he called him.
Puny God.
And we watching this, and we get all behind it. Y'all don't even know. They taking shots at Jesus Christ. They call him the Rock of Ages, right? You follow what I'm saying? So it's a lot of little stuff that I be catching. And if you go back and look at the term Avengers, if you go all the way back to Nimrod, and we're going all the way back now, y'all. If y'all read the story of Nimrod in the book of Josephus, it tells you that Josephus said that Nimrod built the Tower of Babel so that he would avenge the people to God for God flooding them. He said he's going to take revenge on God. That's why they're called the Avengers. They're supposed to be avenging something. When you're an Avenger, that means you are getting revenge for somebody. And they were going against Loki. You follow what I'm saying? Loki comes with a scepter. Loki comes with an army behind him called the Jatari. If you go look at the movie, one of the aliens that was talking to Loki, he had 6 fingers on one hand. Go back and read your Bible when they talk about them giants. 6 fingers on each hand, 6 toes on each foot. They threw that in there because they're letting you know that the giants are of celestial origin and these people are coming from above. You follow what I'm saying? That's what they're trying to let you know. You follow what I'm saying? It's a lot of little subliminals in there, and I can go even further with it. They're just 2 little things. But they let you see what Captain America says, and they let you see what Black Panther says. Captain America, there's only one God. Black Panther, glory to boss. Come on, y'all. Y'all better be out of it. I'm going to chill. I ain't going to say nothing.
All right. Calm down.
Bible Reel is back.
He unloaded. Don't do it. Don't reload.
You got those people throwing their Black Panther attire out the window right now, man.
Yeah, man.
Just when y'all know.
Yeah, we do that. I saw a caller standing by, but once again, family, if you have any comments, any questions, you know that number, 319-527-6239. We'd like to hear from the people, and I appreciate the support out there. A lot of people sharing the show on their personal pages. People checking out the show inside their Facebook groups. We appreciate the family out there. So, again, if you have any questions or comments or, anything you want to say about the movie, you could definitely chime in. But a Rendezvous Prospect, sorry about that. You want to chime in, brother? Yeah.
Not really. I'm having fun just listening to everything. So I'm going to just keep sitting back and observing because I think these brothers got it. So.
All right, no doubt. Let's go to the phone lines, though. Let's go to 563-210. You're live in there.
How you doing? All right. I was listening to the brother about the movie, but I wanted to talk about a specific part toward the end, like when T'Challa, he went about the state of California, and he was when he was announcing that he was willing to share the resources with the Americans and stuff like that. And I kind of watched, when I seen that, I end up seeing something off YouTube. If you know about South Africa, they have just announced about doing free trades with America, about giving resources to America. So that was kind of skeptical when I seen that what was going on up in South Africa. It reminded me of what was going on in that movie toward the end. So I just wanted to elaborate on that.
All right, we appreciate that. Anybody want to address that?
Well, he's talking about sharing resources. You know what? That was actually one aspect that I wanted to bring out, and I wanted to hear from the other panelists and from the callers as well. So I'm kind of glad he brought it up, because that was one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit. And we all know towards the end, T'Challa basically, when he went to the UN and when he bought, land over there in California, and he wanted, do some community outreach and stuff like that. Now, and he wanted to open up these resources. Now, I understand helping when you can help, because I believe that if you can help a situation, if you have the capability of helping, you should help. You should abide by all means. Okay, so I want to just be clear about that. But if I go into the context of the movie itself, I at least hesitate as far as opening up my resources. I'm talking about Wakanda, opening up the resources without any limits. And what I mean is, we understand how these nations work, is that when they get any type of resource, they want to exploit it. Let me be a little clear here. I know the traditional way of the Wakandans, it was about isolation and protecting one's own. I know it was about that. But my problem is when you open up and share all your resources. I'm not talking about cures for diseases and stuff, because that's a good thing, okay? But when you open up and share all your resources, I'm talking about the technology, I'm talking about the vibranium and stuff like that, I worry about something falling in the wrong hands. What I mean by that is anytime we saw an advancement in a precious resource or in a technology or something, and it sounds like most of us have seen most of the Marvel movies and stuff, it can end up in the wrong hands, like somebody wanted to exploit. For example, the military wanted to exploit, Banner's formula, the whole Hulk formula. The Army felt like, General Ross felt like, hey, Banner, his whole body belongs to us, okay? If you go back to the 2008-2009 Hulk movie with Edward Norton. The military wanted to exploit the super soldier serum, okay? The Germans and stuff like, they wanted to get their hands on the super soldier serum that made Captain America, but that died with the creator. The government wanted to exploit Tony Stark's technology. They wanted him to turn over all the technology, okay? So right there, getting into the wrong hands is just greed. And Ant-Man, the corporation, they wanted to monetize the PIM particles that allowed them to make the shrinking technology. Okay, and the list goes on and on and on. It's just, my question ends up being, what do you think will happen if the world gets its hands on vibranium or Wakandan tech, or you can be, you can also have the thought of, why would you arm your enemies? Like, for instance, if you sell a precious metal like vibranium to another country, okay, what are they going to do with it? Most likely, they're going to weaponize it. So why would you do that? They're going to use these resources for ill, for oppression, for war. They're going to use those resources for evil ends. What would the rest of the world think when they find out that Wakanda is sitting on a mountain of vibranium? They're going to come for it. So I know it sounds like I'm making a case for isolation, but what I'm really saying is that I don't know about opening up the borders and sharing all our resources. Again, before someone misunderstands me, I'm not talking about in the line of, say, for instance, a cure for a disease. No, go cure, send the cure out, cure people, help people, stuff like that. I'm just talking about those other resources like the vibranium and the advanced tech and things like that. I understand it can help people, but at the same time, we have to be aware that, or they have to be aware that they are arming their enemies. So, or could be. So I just wanted to kind of get you guys' thoughts on that. Should they remain in, isolation, or should they share their, the technology and their resources?
I'll take a crack at that. But wait, hold on. Before I even try to go there, if Brother Divine is on, I know he said he'll sit back, but you posed a new question and concept. I don't know if he wants to get an opportunity to crack at that if he's interested.
Yeah, actually, it's called.
If I completely changed it. Go ahead.
No, it's cool. It's fine. It's fine. His call actually dropped, and so when he calls back, I'll bring him back in. But you can get to. Oh, by the way, audience, we have 11 minutes on the air. We have 11 minutes on the air. So if you want to catch the rest of the show, you're gonna have to call in before that time runs out. You know the number by now: 319-527-6239. That's 319-527-6239. If you want to catch the rest of the show live, you're going to have to call in before the time runs out. Other than that, check out the archives, iTunes, YouTube, and Blog Talk Radio. We appreciate the family. Continue.
Okay. What was interesting about that, I mean, in a real-life scenario, I would say it wouldn't make any sense. Nations on the earth don't really do that unless they have allies. Wakanda had no allies, so in a real-life scenario, it wouldn't make sense. I mean, just to be honest, I don't think it's rocket science in that regard. If we got the nuclear bomb, we're not sending you all here go the blueprints, y'all make some too. No, the earth is wicked in its current state, and it wouldn't make sense to share that. But what was interesting in the movie, remember, we're dealing with a science fiction world created, and we know that who's coming next in the series is Thanos, the destroyer of worlds, man. The you know what I'm saying? The destroyer of universes, if you will. It was interesting when the guy had said, man, I've seen gods fly and aliens come to the earth. But what I've seen in Wakanda, basically he was saying what he saw in Wakanda, he had never seen anything like it. I think the whole idea was in the construct of the movie, even though whoever this invading alien force is always some kind of evil, I think it's depicted as an evil to make you scared of because it's a threat to man and the life that man desires to live, and how there's some more powerful, technologically advanced, futuristic, no matter how powerful that thing might be, we're going to find a way to beat it. And even though people can fantasize about Wakanda just represents another nation of sinners on the earth doing what they want to do, believing that they have the answers on how to make the earth better. And here comes God, or something God-like that has the ability to do whatever. And we're going to stop it. So in sharing the technology with the world, remember, T'Challa knows about the Avengers. He knows about everything else that's going on in the earth. In the Ant-Man movie, remember, he assisted the Avengers and when they in the Civil War joint. He was with Captain America and them fighting against Iron Man and Spider-Man and Ant-Man and them boys. So when that comes into play, Ant-Man was on Captain America's side. But when that comes into play, the whole idea is share the nations. No matter how much we don't get along, we have to share what we have with each other, because when that great threat comes from beyond our realm to take our control and our way of life from us on the earth, we have to band together and fight against it. And that's another subliminal shot at God. So in the spirit of the whole Nimrodian episode that Josh was explaining. So that's kind of what I saw in that. But in a real life scenario, that wouldn't make no sense whatsoever in the current condition of the earth.
Like that.
All right, family, we're just waiting for the feedback from the audience out there. I see we have a lot of people listening to the show, though. We appreciate the family. Once again, that number is 319-527-6239. We have 7 minutes on the air now. We have 7 minutes on the air. So, again, make sure you call in. Josh, you want to chime in? Go ahead.
Yeah, see, Zadok keep telling me to chill. I'm driving right now, by the way, y'all, just when y'all know I'm going to pick up my son. You keep telling me to chill, but he keep provoking me. You know what I'm saying? He mentioned Thanos and the God concept. Here's a little fun fact for y'all. Look into that too. Thanos is a fictitious character, but he is derived and based on the Greek god of death, the personification of death, Thanatos. Now, I watch these movies and I study. Now, if y'all remember seeing Avengers Age of Ultron, right? This is another shot at God. And I'm going to show y'all how Thanos is a shot at God, too. In the movie Age of Ultron, what was Ultron's plan? He wanted to raise this gigantic city up real high and then come down and destroy the earth, right? That's what he wanted to do. And that's New Jerusalem. How he's coming as a city out of heaven to destroy and take over the earth. He said, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth, it passed away. Passed away means gone. Ain't here no more. Destroyed. Bye-bye. But if you're still not convinced, before Ultron implemented that plan, he talked about this church that he was doing it in. And he even said, on this rock will I build my church. Go back and watch the movie. He said, who said that in the Bible? Jesus said that. So Ultron was another shot at Jesus. He even said it. He said, on this rock will I build my church. And this city that they were in, I forget the name of it, this city they were in, it had a literal church in that. And he wanted to use that church as a focal point to launch his attack on the Avengers. Because he wanted to get the Avengers, right? So, obviously, they beat Ultron. If you stick around to the end of the movie, the end credits, like the little credits we all wait for. You my comic book fans, they know what I'm talking about. When you watch these Marvel movies, you got to sit through them credits because you're going to have a little scene, sometimes 2 or 3, right? But Ultron, he goes close to the camera. Not Ultron, I'm sorry, Thanos. He comes close to the camera, puts on the gauntlet, which is going to hold the Infinity Stones, by the way, and he says, fine, I'll do it myself. What did he mean when he said that? He was talking about where Loki and Ultron failed. That is to invade and conquer the earth. And both Ultron and Loki were quoting things like Jesus. Do y'all remember that scene where he was mind controlling people with the staff, the scepter? He'll touch you on the chest. He said, and what would he say? If you just accept it in your heart. That sounds like Christianity, accepting Jesus. He said, if you just accept it in your heart, then you will know true peace. He was talking like he was like the Antichrist or a fake Jesus. First he failed. Because it was Thanos, if you know your Avengers movie, it was Thanos that sent Loki to conquer the earth. He failed, right? At the end of the first Avengers movie, we see a Thanos credit, right? We know he coming. Then, at the end of Age of Ultron, you got Ultron saying stuff like, on this rock will I build my church. And he said other messianic stuff, too. I can't remember right now. But he said other stuff. And what happens after that? He gets beat by the Avengers. So now Ultron says, fine, I'll do it myself. I mean, not Ultron, but Thanos says, fine, I'll do it myself. Now we're getting to the Avengers Infinity War, right? Where, as they all pointed out, now all the nations got to pool their resources and fight this even bigger threat than each other. That's the Bible again in Revelation. When you talk about all the nations, because the Bible in Revelation, they tell you that all the nations are fighting against each other first. And then when Jesus shows up, okay, let's all turn and get him. You follow what I'm saying? This, as they have said, is yet another shot at God.
Hey, Josh, how about in the Ultron movie, in the beginning, what brought forth Ultron was Iron Man, Tony Stark, with his crazy technology of Jarvis. He was afraid because he was having visions of them being destroyed, and that was what he was envisioning is the coming of Thanos. He didn't know it yet.
Exactly.
But he was getting visions from Thanos and from them all being exposed to the cube and to the powers of these different stones. Now he's having visions and dreams of the coming destruction. And they come and destructing this Thanos. That's crazy. Go ahead.
But guess what? Though? Who was manipulating him the whole time? A woman named Scarlet Witch.
Right.
Remember, she caught him off guard, right? When he came out of his suit, and she ran behind him real quick, and she started waving her fingers, and she was the one that gave some of these visions were false, though. The point about Thanos coming was true. But what she did was she gave him a vision of the Avengers' total destruction, and that gave him the excuse to act irrationally and try to prevent Thanos. Just like a lot of stuff that happens in this world today is implemented by people on purpose to make us paranoid so they can do stuff to take away stuff like take away our guns. Gun control. They'll set up a shooting where a bunch of people get shot, and then they'll say, see, we need better gun control. Time for martial law. You follow what I'm saying? So it's the same thing in the Avengers movie, propaganda. She fed him a bunch of propaganda, which made him paranoid, and he took matters into his own hands. He did all of that behind the other Avengers back, with the exception of David Banner. You know what I'm saying? Banner, the Hulk. He did all that behind their back, and they rebuked him for that. Like, we supposed to be making all these decisions as a team. But what he didn't know was that his paranoia was not really his own, or it was his own, but it was greatly inflated, so to speak, by Scarlet Witch. And y'all got to understand, don't y'all think it's funny that a character with the word witch in her name is what gave him these false visions and delusions and made him paranoid? Sorcery, y'all. Y'all better catch yourself. But go ahead, you were saying something else, Zadok?
It's all over the place. It's all over the place.
So we got to be paying attention to this stuff. Thanos is actually based on a real Greek god. He's the Greek. Look it up, Thanatos. That's his real name, Thanatos. You follow what I'm saying? And he's the personification of death. And it's the same thing like with Thor, as they all pointed out. Thor is a pagan god, and we got our kids dressing up as Thor, another trick of Satan. Same thing with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is based off of Greek mythology. Diana, you know what I'm saying? Artemis, all that is Greek mythology. We got our kids dressing up as, as Greek goddesses. Wonder Woman, she's Wonder Woman. No, her father is dressing up as a pagan god or goddess. This is Satan's ploy. All of these movies, especially hero movies, don't even get me started on Man of Steel. There's so much stuff in there, it ain't even funny. So much Jesus imagery in there. Like, I can do like a whole segment on that, but they do stuff like that to try to get us to glorify fictitious heroes and turn away from Jesus Christ or turn away from the God of the Bible in general. That's the reason why when you look at this Black Panther movie and you look at Killmonger and you look at T'Challa, all we want to do is we want to take those concepts and we want to be like, okay, Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King. And we don't even understand that below the surface, it ain't about no one civil rights leader view versus another civil rights leader view. This is really the two sides of the goddess Bastet. Her rageful side, that's Killmonger, and her passive side, that can be appeased, that's T'Challa. Both of them are two aspects of the goddess Bastet, and nobody is talking about that. That's what I'm getting at. Nobody's talking about that. So at the end of the day, if you really want to know Brother Josh's perspective, both of them dudes can kick rock because they both worshiping and representing pagan Kemet or pagan Egypt, and they're trying to use Black Panther to substitute, if you will, Jesus Christ. That's the reason why they give him all this Jesus Christ stuff. So what?
I said they use it. It's a way to kind of soft sell, to kind of take the poison pill, kind of soft sell, connect, things like that. With Bastet and mythology and stuff like that. Yeah, so soft sell.
Exactly, and we know that Hollywood loves Kemet. They love Egypt. You follow what I'm saying? They love it. So Satan is trying to subtly get us to worship these pagan gods and goddesses. A lot of people don't know that Black Panther is the physical incarnation of the goddess, the feline or the cat goddess, Bastet. So she's over all cats. She's over panthers, jaguars, lions, you name it. She's a feline goddess. And there were two aspects to her. Y'all need to look this stuff up. Look her up. She had a peaceful side, and she had a rage side. And that's why when I looked at Killmonger, I said, oh, that ain't nothing but the rage side of Bosset. And I look at T'Challa, even on social media. Robert Reed said he went on there and he looked at the videos like I did. You know, a lot of people said T'Challa was too soft. So would you call him a pussy cat? That's what you would call him. He's a pussy cat, right? That's what we call soft people. We usually leave the word cat off. Y'all know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? But that's where it really comes from. I know people use that as a nasty word, but that's what that word really means. It means a cat. So anyway, they call him a little salty, right? But if you look at Bosset, she had a soft side to her too, where she's like a little gentle cat that can be stroked. That's what we read. So we don't understand that this is the type of stuff that's really at work here. Yes, there's a lot of truth in what both of these men were saying, you know, T'Challa and Killmonger. Which, by the way, Killmonger. Think about that. The dude's name is Killmonger. That means that's all he does. He kills. He don't care about anybody. All he cares about is achieving what he wants. Dude killed his own female, and she was down with him from the rip. It made that very clear in the movie. And he just offed her. He didn't even show any remorse. It wasn't like a sacrifice of necessity where, you know, when you do something like that, you know, you're crying and you're like, oh, my God. You know, I can't believe I had to do that. You're really remorseful about it. This dude killed people. I think Zadok pointed out how he choked out another old woman. You know what I'm saying? He choked her out. No remorse. You know what I'm saying? And this is the person that people say, that's the hero. You got women. Here's the thing. You got the women on social media promoting Killmonger. Killmonger just showed you, if you were his woman, what he would do to you. If he felt that he had to do that. T'Challa wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, auntie.
That's ironic.
It's crazy. Yeah, man, that's real. But,
Yeah,
that's
ironic.
guys. It's ironic.
You said what now?
Nah, I said keep going. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying, but see, we don't look at little stuff like that because, see, we fall for the propaganda. And that's the problem with a movie like Black Panther because it incited emotions in a large portion of the black race that we've never seen before. And you got, I mean, when I went online, I heard about people wearing dashikis to watch the Black Panther, and I'm saying to myself, okay, I can't knock that. I can't say that's wrong because I'm all for anything that makes our people view themselves in a positive light. You follow what I'm saying? You know, but y'all have to understand, man, that it is a Disney movie. That's the first thing we got to understand. Marvel is owned by Disney. And Disney has a very dark history of taking shots at the black race. You follow what I'm saying? All you got to do is go on YouTube and Google banned Disney cartoons. And it'll show you all of the open racial stuff they can say about black people. You follow what I'm saying? So now, in a more politically correct era, they know they can't do that. So what they do is they take little subtle shots at us. They know exactly what to put out to stir us up. But that movie is propaganda, and it's pagan. And I see the layered messages in it. What they want us to believe is that Killmonger was right. That's what they want us to do. That's why you got people, Killmonger was the hero. Killmonger was the hero, a dude that brags about, with no remorse, killing his own people on their own home soil. He said, I killed people right here on his land, black people right here on his land, bragging about it, with a smile on his face. Go back and watch the movie. With a smile on his face. All I can get to you, T'Challa. I don't think you killed one man. Come on, y'all. That's the hero. We backwards. We are backwards people if you think Killmonger was the hero, because what that movie showed me is all a guy got to do for most black people. Not all of us, because we ain't all stupid. But all somebody got to do is say a few things that we are relatable to, that we can relate to. You know, say it loud, say it proud, put a little energy, a little passion with it, and we all ready to follow that dude to the depths of hell. You know, we don't even consider the ramifications of anything he's doing. Like, for instance, because they all brought this out. Let's say Killmonger would have killed T'Challa and carried out his plan to try to get weapons to other secret agents from Wakanda around the world. Right? Killmonger wanted to conquer the world. But a lot of black people seem to forget that the Black Panther exists in the MCU. That's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Meaning, as soon as you leave out Wakanda, you got to deal with Captain America, you got to deal with Ant-Man, you got to deal with Iron Man, you got to deal with War Machine, you got to deal with Thor, you got to deal with Black Widow, you got to deal with Hawkeye, you got to deal with all these visions, or as they call them in the movie, enhanced individuals. You got to deal with all these people. Do y'all really think Wakanda could take on the rest of the world with the ever-growing menace of enhanced individuals in the MCU? Like, I love, the Black Panther concept, but Black Panther can't be Incredible Hulk, y'all. We know that. Incredible Hulk was the start of Black Panther. And Killmonger was nothing but Black Panther. He couldn't be Incredible Hulk. He couldn't be Iron Man. Iron Man he got that suit that he brought out in the Avengers Age of Ultron called the Hulk Buster. Black Panther don't want to see the Hulk Buster, y'all. That game over for the Black Panther and Tony Stark send in, what do you call it, Veronica. What would he call it when he got that suit? Once Tony Stark send in Veronica, it's game over for everybody in Wakanda, dude. That's a wrap.
Absolutely. That's not, and you don't even have to mention, Doctor Strange, Thor. You don't have to mention any of them.
Exactly. Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch. I mean, Killmonger didn't know. Obviously, Dr. Doom. Exactly. Ant-Man. Spider-Man. Don't forget Spider-Man. You there too. You know what I'm saying? Red Wing or the Hulk guy. All these guys walking around. And Killmonger thinks that because he got the power of the Black Panther and a few spaceships at his disposal, he's just going to take over the world. Tony Stark alone can give Wakanda a run from his money. He got whole Iron Man suits flying around. You know what I'm saying? One Iron Man suit can destroy a Wakanda plane. Y'all know that. And ain't nobody in the Iron Man suit. They unmanned. So Killmonger did not fully think that out. If I were Killmonger and I just happened to take the throne and just usurp him, I would have chilled and I would have been like, wait a minute. First day on the throne. Think about this, y'all. First day on the throne and Killmonger saying, okay, stage 2, conquer the world. First day on the throne? You ain't even going to get acclimated to your new surroundings as king? Don't you think you need to go out this situation better? Have you forgot about the other enhanced individuals? And let's say if Killmonger would have ruled the world. Thanos is coming, y'all.
I thought the exact same thing.
Thanos is coming. So this is a way of us we got to understand that when we get angry and we get up in our emotions, because we are an emotional people, I acknowledge that. I've made peace with that. Sometimes that's for our detriment. Sometimes it's to our advantage. But the black race is a very emotional race. And we get so caught up in emotion and blinded by it that we don't think out stuff that we're going to do. Like, we just do stuff. Like, when they killed Dr. King, what do? We rioted and burnt down our own city. Ain't nobody thinking, where am I going to work tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? I just burnt down where I work at. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody saying, they didn't go and burn down suburbia. They ain't gonna burn down the white. We got mad and we burned down our own stuff. You mad at the white man and you burn down your own stuff. I don't get that. If I'm mad at my so-called enemy, I'm gonna burn down his stuff. I ain't gonna get mad to burn my house down. I got to live there. I mean, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get mad at Zadok. Zadok ticks me off. You know what I'm gonna do? Zadok. You know what I'm gonna do? What you gonna do, Josh? I'm finna kick you in my big screen TV. That'll show you. What? That means they ain't gonna have nothing to watch tomorrow. That's what we do. That's what Killmonger was doing. He was damaging his own cause. What he should have did, this is my opinion, anybody can jump in and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. But what he should have did, after he took over, he should have waited a few years and planned and seen what he was up against. Because if another Black Panther is all it took to take out Killmonger, right? Captain America, if you read the comics, Captain America is basically equal to the Black Panther. The only thing that gives the Black Panther the edge is that suit. But Captain America is basically equal to the Black Panther in size, strength, and ability, right? And we ain't even talking about, somebody mentioned Wolverine. Black Panther don't want to see Wolverine because the comic books tell you that adamantium, that's the metal that Wolverine is made out of, can penetrate vibranium. You follow what I'm saying? You know, so he has just a stronger metal. So right now the X-Men ain't been introduced to the universe yet, but I don't think they ever will. But they just keep it real like the MCU universe. They don't have enough. Wakanda is a country, a single country, taking on the entire world. I don't care how much technology you got. You know what I'm saying? You're going to die. You're going to lose. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at little stuff like that, y'all, and I see people getting all caught up in this movie and talking Killmonger was the hero and Killmonger was right. No, man. Killmonger is living up to his namesake. Killmonger gets people killed. That's what he does.
He was about to destroy everybody. T'Challa and them knew, that we can't let our technology get out the borders, not just because we're going to do something to the world, but because if that happens, you're threatening the existence of Wakanda. He just got back. Exactly. Remember, he's housing, which we could easily forget, he's housing the Winter Soldier who Captain America and them going to come to get to wake back up when Thanos pop up. So the whole thing is that White Wolf. Right, they're holding the Winter Soldier in a crypto state. It got him in a crypto sleep, and Captain America, and that means the Avengers know they know about Wakanda.
Exactly.
There is no way that Wakanda is going to fight the Avengers and win. As you said, the Hulk alone, bruh. For those who know about the comic book for real, Hulk is so uncontrollable that Iron Man had a special ship built that if Hulk got out of control and couldn't be reasonable no more, they would send him off the planet.
And that's what
because that's how dangerous he is alone.
Exactly. And that's what the comic, for all y'all comic fans, that was the theory of Planet Hulk. Because they had to do that. They had to send his brother in his face. Because he was that uncontrollable. Hulk, think about it. Wakanda got technology, but all of their people are regular humans. We forget that. The Black Panther is the only enhanced individual.
Right.
And Killmonger, dumb behind, burned all the heart-shaped earth. He wanted to be the last Black Panther. So you're not immortal, dude. So if you die, who's going to defend Wakanda? Because you don't wipe out any Black Panther coming up to help you. You want to be that's stupid. See, that's what emotion does. You don't think. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't thinking. He just like, I'm going to be the Black Panther. And the thing about it was, dude was messing around with Ulysses Claw. That's the white guy with the cybernetic hand, right? Ulysses Claw knows all about the Avengers. He knows about Ultron. Ultron is the one that cut his hand off. He knows all about the foreign menace, the impending doom. He knows about this stuff. He knows about Wakanda. This guy was very informed, right? So you going to side with him. This dude was playing Killmonger the whole time. He knew that Killmonger, whatever he was planning to do, ultimately it was going to fail. Because he knew that Thanos was going to show up and going to steal the show. In fact, Thanos is so powerful. In the comic book, he's one-shot Hulk. One shot, hit Hulk one time, Hulk down. And Hulk is like the baddest dude in the MCU. You know what I'm saying? And he got one shot by Thanos. People don't understand this stuff. This is what these movies are trying to tell you, but we get caught up in emotion. People say, well, all T'Challa did was start social programs. The movie made it very clear that was the beginning of what he was going to do. It didn't say, we're going to buy a few buildings and start some social programs and, my conscience is placated. That ain't what the movie said. The movie made it very clear that was the beginning of what he was going to do. People like that say, that's all he did? No. That was the beginning of what he was going to do. His next step was to go to the United Nations, which I thought was stupid, by the way. You know what I'm saying? And tell them all these people, they let them know that Wakanda is more than meets the eye. I thought that was stupid. You don't tell nobody you sitting on a gold mine. What treasure in this world has never been sought after or attempted to be stolen? And y'all sitting on vibranium. Yep. They say that stuff could heal. They said they were making clothes out of that stuff. Making. That is so stupid when he did that. He did not have to tell. He could just be like, yo, I think Wakanda is going to be more interested in foreign relations. And he should have left it at that. Then dude come, we sitting on some vibranium. You idiot. Why would you do that? That's the only part of the movie. Yeah. That's the only part of the movie where I was just really scratching my head at T'Challa, because he didn't get that from his ancestors. They knew better than that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, there's a way, like for instance, I'm just going to use Zadok and Robert Reed as an example, and Divine Prospect if he's still around. Right? These brothers all get on social media and in person, and they teach in their own perspective way. But we ain't got to tell y'all all our personal business to do that. You follow what I'm saying? We helping y'all. We providing a service for y'all. But I ain't got to know how much resources they got in his vault, how much in his bank account, what he's sitting on. He can help me. Like, if I came to Zadok right now, and I'm pretty sure he would do it if I really needed it, and he had it, I'm like, Zadok, I need $500 for my rent. Right? If he got it, he's like, I got you, Josh. I'll PayPal it to you, or if I'm in town, I'll shoot that little bit to you. But he ain't going to be like, yeah, Josh, I got it. Oh, by the way, I got 500 stacks in my bank account, and I'm making all these investments, and blah, blah. You ain't got to say all that. Just help me. I ain't got to know all that. That's what he messed up at, because the movie is letting you know that word is out, Wakanda sitting on the gold mine is open season. And that's what Robert Reed was saying, and that's the one thing I saw on social media. Everybody was just saying, nope, that was stupid. That was dumb. That was
you know what? Because he smiled when it was like, well, what can Wakanda show us? I'm not even sure. It's interesting to be thinking. I'm not even assuming that the idea is they was going to share everything with the world. They were just going to share a few things to let them know, like, yo, we can help y'all. Y'all got all of these sicknesses and stuff. Who knows what it would be? I'm not sure if it would be the full gamut. But what was interesting about people who would be like, okay, so you're going to go share everything, because that's the kind of impression you could get. You're going to share everything with the world, but all you're going to do for the hood is open up a community center. As you pointed out, the whole, I don't know, wait, was it you? If it wasn't you, then it was one of the other brothers who pointed out Oakland is the original headquarters of the Black Panther movement. And what's interesting, the real Black Panther movement, it was interesting is it was community programs that really got them recognized and built up their power, and was the, I don't think it's I think that was a subliminal, and I don't think it's a happenstance. J. Edgar Hoover said that the most dangerous things that the Black Panthers had, it wasn't their guns. He said it was their social program.
That's right.
The WIC program, the Women and Children's program, is a direct knockoff of the Black Panthers Women and Children's program to take care of paternity needs and to make sure that mothers had milk and had other things, but they was getting birth control. I mean, they were getting breastfeeding campaigns and all of that kind of stuff. And then the free lunch program that some of us grew up in the 80s and the 90s in the summers. You go into the park in the summer and you get the free lunch. That was started by the Black Panthers in Oakland as well. So the subliminal of what T'Challa and them were doing by just saying, yo, we going to buy these up and we going to open up these. This is going to be our first outreach joint. It was going to be in the hood, and it was going to be educating the hood in the things that they need to start to sustain themselves right where they are and to start to create a different mindset. That was so powerful to me. Some people probably wouldn't see that if they didn't see that subliminal.
And you know what's so funny? We downplayed that part of the movie. Because like I was saying, a lot of people, he did. No, dude, y'all don't get it. See, he was teaching people self-reliance. You follow what I'm saying? He was social programs. Y'all know they got literacy programs. They have GED programs. They got disciplinary programs. You know, teach people not to do drugs. Like the original Black Panthers, they policed the community and they did not let drugs come in the community. They did that by force. A lot of people don't know this about the Black Panthers, right? That's what social programs do. Social programs raise awareness, and they educate, and they teach self-empowerment and self-improvement, right? That's the most strong thing he could do. All Killmonger wanted to do was have some advanced weapons to every black person on the planet and say make it do what it do. No, that's not what you do. Think about it right now. If you were Black Panther, T'Challa, what would you do? A lot of folks don't think about that. Like, if you sitting on a gold mine, and y'all all know, I don't care who get mad, but we all know how black folks are. Not all of them, but y'all know the ones I'm talking about, right? All Killmonger wanted to do was give out handouts. That's all he wanted to do. I want to give everybody this. I want to give it. He say nothing about we need to properly educate these people and determine through a process who gets what. He just wanted to give any black person a gun. It don't matter if you got a criminal background, don't matter if you're a pedophile, just give them a gun and tell them to shoot somebody. Tell them to shoot another black person if they don't agree with their philosophy. That's all he wanted to do. But our people, once again, that emotion, we get so caught up in that, we ain't even thinking about what we agreeing to. We ain't even thinking about what we amening. All we know is that we mad and we want retribution. But if I'm mad at Zadok and I want retribution on Zadok, I don't want it at the expense of my son. I don't want my son to die to get Zadok. You follow what I'm saying? We don't look at stuff like that. And the Black Panther, when he was talking about the social programs and stuff like that, the reason why a lot of black people were thumbs down in that is because social programs imply self-reliance, which implies you got to get up off your butt and do something. That's the reason why a lot of folks were like, nah, I ain't feeling that. Killmonger, like, just give everybody what they want. And, we get behind that. A bunch of politicians promising us stuff for little or no effort on our own part. We get behind stuff like that. We love that. Oh, I ain't got to do this, I ain't got to do that. Shoot, you got my vote. And here's another thing that we need to bring out, y'all, that ain't nobody really even thinking about. What guarantees did we even have that Killmonger would even keep any of the promises that he made? Can somebody touch on that? I want to hear somebody take on that. What guarantees do we have?
Not one. I already seen by how he was moving. I had quoted Fred Hampton earlier, but I didn't finish it. He said, if the people aren't educated on the need for equality among us all and the total replacement of the system with a new and better one, he said, then what's going to happen is they're going to come together to fight against the oppressor, and then once you defeat the oppressor, you're going to turn on each other, because what was really happening the whole time is one of you just wanted to really take the oppressor's place. You didn't want to destroy the system he had. You just wanted to be in his position of power. Exactly. So when you destroy the said oppressor, now you become the oppressor to subdue your people. And that is where Killmonger would have led, let's say if they just would have somehow let it play out. Even in the old original comic book, Killmonger was really willing to destroy his people to set up a new world, and he used the white man, he used the racism of the KKK in them to try and justify not just fighting them, but even if he had to, destroying the Black Panther, if he wasn't willing to basically become the replacement oppressor. Let's oppress white people now and anybody else who ever did something wrong to black folk. And that's one thing in the so-called Hebrew Israelite community, among some of the more far right-wing, I guess you could say, factions. They don't really want justice and equity for all people. They just want to kill, in their words, 2/3 of you Negroes. And ain't no salvation for nobody else but us. Yeah.
Right.
You know what, guys? I like the fact that y'all bringing out how short-sighted Killmonger was. Because a lot of people, again, remember what we were talking about in the beginning of this whole conversation, that people were saying that, or at least I said too in my opening statement, that people can sympathize and empathize with his plight, because he's American with American sensitivities and so on and so forth. And I like how we're just kind of picking apart how short-sighted, Killmonger was. I mean, it's like Josh was saying, what's the first thing he wants to do when he gets on the throne? He doesn't even want to understand what's been going on in Wakanda. He just got there. He don't want to know. He don't want to know what's been going on in Wakanda. He don't want to know who he can trust, who his advisors will be, because you know everything's about to get turned over, and he has nothing. I mean, it's just everything's so short-sighted, let alone, like you said, other enhanced beings on the planet, because you are talking about just Killmonger. I mean, it's just a community. Wakanda is just a country, and they have high tech. That's it. But as far as enhanced, the only enhanced people were, in fact, the Black Panthers. But what did Killmonger do? He destroyed and burned all the heart-shaped herbs, so no one else can even be a Black Panther. So even if he wanted some more help or whatever, he couldn't even enhance anybody to help him, which wouldn't do him any good with the type of enhanced people that are out there. So the guy's completely flawed and short-sighted. So I'm just glad that we're kind of pointing that out and just kind of pulling that thread, because some people who are pumping up, you know, Killmonger and just saying, yeah, man, you know, he was right because of this and that. I'm like, give me a break. You know, he was, you know, emotional. And I'm not changing my position on him. I said he does have a right to feel how he feels, but that doesn't mean that his plan was going to work. It doesn't mean that, you know, it doesn't mean that what he was doing, you know, is righteous or anything like that. Because you guys remember, you know, I said, yeah, I mean, I understand. He abandoned, the father killed, you know, disenfranchised, felt like his home, quote unquote, home country, at least where his ancestry is from, could have helped his situation. They didn't. He got bitter, he got upset, but give me a break. He's not a leader. He doesn't have a plan or nothing like that. He had a vendetta, and that was it. No plan, no nothing else. So you know, so I'm glad you guys are pulling at that thread.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Hey.
man. You got good.
No, I just wanted to say, and not getting into it too deeply, I definitely wanted to point out, I really liked the fact that in all of the human flaw that they couldn't help but display in the movie, the idea of the female in that society, she was still a woman. They still loved their men, and they still was there to help, but they were just equal in sharing the burden of moving it forward. Some of your best warriors will be your females. They're going to want to fight to protect what it is that they love, and that's their community. You know, the female, she was like, man, I'll die for the throne. Even the man, you know, the dude on the rhino who I guess was like her little love interest character in the movie, he was like, you would kill me, my love? And she basically was like, for Wakanda? Like, yeah. And then that's when he surrendered and all his people stopped fighting. The sister being the one who is pushing forward the technology and everything of that nature. And then the importance of his love interest who was out there, and she in the other countries seeing the oppression and the injustice, and she's bringing that idea to the table. It was just very refreshing. Even when you look at the original Black Panthers, it was women who was administrating and orchestrating and holding down a lot of the innovation and the execution of the Black Panther machine. And so any true revolution, any true nation building will not happen without any women. I'll tell you this, if you got something going on and you talking about doing anything for this nation, you know, and you know, this pseudo-Israelite internet nation that they be pushing, if you really are going to get anything done and you talking about putting together a council, like, yo, let's get together and have a council. Everybody want to invite you to these Hebrew Israelite councils they have in the country. Oh, okay, cool. If y'all really talking about nation building and in a decision-making role, ain't no women on your council, I'm leaving. If I show up and y'all ain't got no women that's sitting next to men saying, nah, we need to think this through, we might need to go this way and not that way, then I don't believe y'all really trying to build no nation. And I really just like that aspect that they did play out in the movie. It was dope. And they really played on an ancient, well-known African tribe of female warriors who were known to scare off and defeat some of the more masculine led tribes in ancient Africa. It was just dope. I just liked that aspect of it because I believe that in too many of these scenarios, the female is treated like a second-class citizen when a helpmeet doesn't mean slave. It means someone who actually knows what you're supposed to be doing, and they're going to keep you in line on your mission. When you fall off, they're like, hey, homie, you falling off. I'm here to help you meet your goal. So get back on track. And it's someone you got to respect. Whoever's going to do that for you, you have to respect them. You have to value their counsel because their whole job is to help you secure what it is that you were made for. And I just think that role might be played upon more, but it was just refreshing to see. And I know that unless women are in, and of course, Sal said some sisters had a show on this just some time ago. Women who are into wisdom like us, they're going to see some of them things. And it really, really impressed upon the minds of some of the women in the community who may not be into things of knowledge, but just the imagery and the thought of it was kind of like fantastic. That was just a great thing to see because you never, ever see black females portrayed like that in any kind of respect in the West.
I know Robert Reed. Yeah, I was letting you know Robert Reed had to go. He had to leave, so we lost Robert Reed. But we appreciate him for coming on the panel, and we about to wrap up real soon. And I do see we have a caller standing by, but Josh, go ahead, you can respond.
Oh no, let's go to the caller. I don't say a thing. I want to hear from the caller first.
All right, let's go to 916-769. You're live in air.
Yeah, shalom. How y'all doing? It's Anonymous Hebrew.
Hey, what's
all right.
Shalom. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but then y'all started talking about the women part, and then just the part of Killmonger wanting to come in there and not even take his time and look at everything. So I'm just gonna throw my 2 cents in there and then let y'all keep going because y'all been killing it. Josh sitting there showing everything. He's ruining the Marvel universe for everybody right now. From a psychological perspective, we see the trauma that our people been through, especially if you look at it from Killmonger perspective, and we can see it happening in our community. Just the torment, right? So if you think about how somebody would jump on this dude's side, like Zadok pointed out, y'all pointed it out, how he killed his female and then choked up his aunt. Like, he choking up the matriarchs. And then, like you said, as soon as he get into power, the first thing you want to do is just destroy the whole thing. That's trauma. That's just you mentally destroyed, right? So all you can think about is revenge. So the psychological aspect of our community is we got to work on that. The aspect of the woman seeing her, our women being able to see themselves in that type of light. I think we talked about it on the Man Up segment on BA show. I think it was last week or the week before. We talked about the word rib, and if you get to the root word of it, it's selah. When the Most High took Adam's rib, that word means lame or limp. Like he took the limp part of Adam, the wounded part, the part where he looked at and saw that Adam was alone. Like that's what our women are, right? They fulfilling that weakness, that part that we needed. So to see our people standing side by side is, man and woman standing side by side. That was a beautiful part of the movie. And then the final thing, and this was the main thing I wanted to point out, is we don't realize we at war. And this is how you know Killmonger being this incredible soldier, I guess. He got all of these kills. He just got in his feelings, so to speak, because the first thing, like a combat soldier, this is what a combat soldier do. The first thing they do, like when we jump out of a plane or if you jump off a helicopter, you take off your Kevlar, you take off your helmet, you put on your soft hat, your boonie cap, like the bucket hats that cats wear now. You put on your boonie cap, and then you do what's called SEALs. You do a stop, look, listen, and smell, right? So you get acclimated to your surroundings. So that way when things start to change, like if you ever, I don't know if y'all like go hunting or if you be in the woods or whatever, like even when the wind shift, you can smell when something new come into the area because it'll give a whole new smell. You can hear when things change. Obviously, you can see when things change. And then the final, you can feel it. Like things just change. Animals start making different sounds, or they just get quiet, or they completely leave the area. Like that's the same thing. We at war right now, right? If we were to get into that position of power, the first thing we've got to do is stop and peep the scene. But even right now, the first thing we really should be doing is stopping and peeping the scene. We witnessing our nation. We've already seen the birth of it. Now we're starting to see the growth of it if we really stop and pay attention. So that's why it's hard for me to really look at the camps on the corner just attacking people, and even some of our Torah and Tanakh, and even some of our Messianic brothers just attacking people. You know what I mean? Like, I got attacked this week, and it was just crazy to me just to see, like, this is how we deal with each other. This is really we Israelites, and this is how we deal with each other. So the trauma of it is real, but, like, we really at war, and it would behoove us to look at this. I know, the movie is a good thing, but to look at it and see, like Josh said, what Hollywood is trying to do, but also look at it from the perspective of, if we're trying to win this war, we got to make way smarter moves. So, y'all did an excellent job. Y'all killed it tonight. Shabbat Shalom. We in the Passover season, so, you know what I'm saying? Y'all do y'all thing. Shalom style. That'll be easy. Shalom, Josh. Zadok, man. I love y'all. Be easy.
Shalom, shalom.
Peace, shalom, brother. All right, family. So, listen, it was a classic, movie review. So technically, this is the second movie review. Go check out the ladies' version called Wakanda Forever. Make sure you go check that out. And I'm pretty sure you guys enjoyed this particular movie review. Let us know if you want to hear some more in the future. Send me an email, debatetalkforyou@gmail.com, debatetalk, the number 4, letter U, @gmail.com. Let's wind down, though. Let's pretty much wind down, get some final words, and pretty much call it a night. Zadok, last words.
Peace and blessings, family. It's always an honor to get on with Josh when I can. Appreciate you, Sal. Like I always tell people, we get to come on when we're scheduled. Sal is on every week. So just have some love for the brother, support the brother. I just think that there's a great lesson to learn. I mean, we're in a world, and sometimes for entertainment value or observation value, we have the ability to watch whatever it is that we watch or listen to what it is we listen to, but understand what you're dealing with and understand how to teach your people. You know what I'm saying? I didn't watch 12 Years a Slave because I loved seeing slavery, but the dynamic of how it's portrayed and some of the nuggets that you can learn that's being revealed through certain things. When they watched Birth of a Nation, which was encompassing in Nat Turner story, the brother who wrote it, the black actor who directed it and wrote it, he got some flack for it. But why do you watch it? Not because you want to see black people getting beat, but because there's an entertainment value that allows you to observe and to perceive and to be able to disseminate something from it. So the same thing with this movie. We live in an age where we got a lot of technology going on, and the technology allows you to display some of these things in a way not never before. And once the Avatar was made, CGI went to the next level. And so all I can say is it was a great movie in the entertainment value. For those of us, if y'all didn't know, most of the brothers on this line tonight were classic from our childhood comic book lovers. We know some of these storylines from the comic books and see how they're changed and adapted to the screen, but yet understanding the premise. But also understand that everything in the world that is put on the table by men, if you look close enough, you're going to see his flaw in it. You're going to see his upliftment of himself. You're going to see his pride, and you're going to see his anti-God, corrupt conscience come through. And that's hopefully, out of all the things you would have got out of the movie, prayerfully understand exactly that's what it is. It is a movie. So when you watch, observe, and understand, it's much more than meets the eye. And sometimes I think it's deeper than even the writers in them might even understand, because there are spiritual wickedness and principalities in high places at work, not just the mere mind of men. Just as when we claim we're dealing with the things of God, it's not just the mere mind of a Josh or a Zadok or a Rob or a Divine Prospect or even a Sal. We believe that the spirit of heaven is at play as well. So just be mindful, family, and keep your eyes and your ears open, because it's not going to get any less. They're not going to dumb it down. As the time draws near, it's going to be even a more blatant display of anti-God, anti-righteousness, anti-man being taken off the path he wants, kind of display in our cultures. And so just be mindful of it. Don't just look at it as entertainment, but look at it as an opportunity to learn how they're thinking and what's on their minds. So I thank you for the opportunity. This was very interesting. And God bless you all. Good night.
All right, we appreciate you, Zadok, of course, for coming on. And Brother Josh, go ahead.
I'll try to keep it brief because I'm still on the road. But as Zadok said, it's always a pleasure when I can do a lesson with Zadok, you know. And it was a pleasant surprise because I didn't even know he was going to be on the panel. I knew about Robert Reed and So Real. It was also good to finally have some dialogue with Design Prospect. I've checked out a lot of stuff that the brother does. You know what I'm saying? I admire a lot of his work, so that was cool, too. Just like what Zadok said, you know, peak game, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Every movie has an agenda. Every movie has a message. You know, take the good, throw out the bad. You know what I'm saying? You know, but if you're not peeping the game, you might find yourself promoting something that's against God. That's what I watch these movies to make sure. I'm going to watch, y'all. I'm going to try to catch it if I can. I know Sal was joking with me talking about, oh, man, I got to throw away my Black Panther phone case. But, dude, I hate to tell you, bro, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I know this stuff, and I know how they're trying to get us. They try to subliminally get us to worship Satan and promote Satan. Because if you promote any God other than the God of this Bible, you are promoting the devil. You are promoting Satan. That's what the Bible says. That's just what it is. And Black Panther, as cool as a character as he is, and he's one of the coolest that's come in a long time, especially as a black person. As cool as he is, can't get down with him. I can't wear his gear. I can't promote the wearing of his gear because if I do that, I might well tell everybody to throw on some umps or wear some Eye of Horror shirts. You know what I'm saying? Because that's who he is. He's from the God Bossette. So with that being said, it's stuff in the movie that the writers want us to get out of it. It's some positive aspects to it. You know, don't get all in your feelings. You know what I'm saying? It can't be all about revenge. It can't be all about a vendetta. You know, you want to help your people, don't hurt your people. That's an oxymoron. Don't be like, I want to help my people by hurting my people. Don't do that. You know, of course, now if somebody try to hurt you, yeah, you defend yourself. But if your mission has any type of contingency plan that allows for you killing somebody who just don't agree with your philosophy, not trying to actually physically oppose you, you just don't agree with your philosophy, then you ain't trying to liberate your people. You're trying to promote self, and that's always a bad thing. I thank everybody for coming out and listening. Appreciate Sal. Hey, support Sal. Make sure y'all do that. We don't talk about this before. Sal, hey, he's putting in that work. You know what I'm saying? So y'all make sure y'all donate. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no other platform on social media like the Debate Talk for You, the most respectable platform on social media. You know what I'm saying? Spread the word, share the videos, share the shows, you know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much it. I hope everybody got something out of this. Thanks again to all the brothers in the audience. Peace out. I'm out.